Conspiracy Theory, starring Kieran Torres, Lloyd Montgomery, me, UGM, Brandon Blackmore. Donald's not with us, he's in the Bermuda Triangle. Tonight's game sponsored by homemade hard root beer, and I insist that this is a perfectly adequate and acceptable way to make homemade hard root beer. Tito's handmade vodka and Diet A&W. Say what now?
I said not only that, it's homemade diet root beer.
Well, yeah. It's not. There's plenty of calories in vodka. It's just. Don't judge me. Anyway. Look. Made with aged vanilla. Ooh. So it's real. It's real, it just doesn't have sugar. Alright, last week when we left our merry band of outcasts, you separately made your way to Scottsville, Virginia, where two of you, well, one of you that's not here, Karen, Charlotte Day, was asked to investigate lights in the sky, mutated fish, and a rock slide at a local cavern, the Lost World Cavern. John Morgan, completely independently, ran across a reference to these unusual happenings all happening at the same place, more or less, at the same time, more or less, in Scottsville, Virginia. And both of you, having pretty decent reasons to leave town, decided to make a road trip to Scottsville, Virginia, along with Mark Savage, the fella from the West Coast, who came and hung out and seems strangely absent at the moment. So, what do? You talked to Sam Benton, a local expert on lights in the sky. He's been seeing them since he was a kid. Him and his buddy Jim Johnson, have seen them on hunting trips and fishing trips for years, since the 90s. So there's that. He invited you to come back around 8:30 when it gets dark, and for $20 a piece, he will show you around where he has seen them before. No guarantees you'll see them, but he'll show you where he's seen them before. So then you leave. Then you went to Lost World Cavern, which the gift shop is open, but the caverns themselves are closed due to a rock slide. And I think you decided to come and break in later when they were closed, because the gift shop closes at 6. So you were going to come back after that. And then you went back to the motel, which was the... Oh, I actually had this written. Lumpkins. Lumpkins Restaurant and Motel. It is the only restaurant and the only motel in Scottsville. So, went back there. Mark Savage had a package waiting for him that included a couple of letters and a couple of photographs and a note that said, "These might be of interest to you in light of goings-on in Scottsville." And then Mark Savage went and talked to Jenna Laurier, who runs the HP Garage, and found out that the car in the picture was given to her by her uncle Kermit, who has since moved to Philadelphia to head Fort Dodge Labs. John Morgan went to the county courthouse to look up the names that were in the letters, and he found genealogical information. And that's kind of where we are now. So, I don't know where Charlotte was during this time. Where's Charlotte during this time?
I had decided to change clothes.
Sounds like a plan. Particularly if you're going to go in a cave. Very muddy caves.
So I had gone to the thrift store, and prior to our running about, so unless I had gotten somebody to clean them for me, I'd probably have to go to the laundromat and...
There is a laundromat.
And then change clothes and you all have dinner because those guys ran off without me, so whatever.
Okay.
I am now wearing thrift store clothing from a small town.
While Charlotte is waiting for her laundry to finish, she dozes off and has a vision. She's in a desert plain with like rocks and sand and a huge starry sky with like an extremely bright Milky Way and streams of asteroids, I guess, kind of like going across the sky in a arc, and hovering in the sky just past the horizon are large cubes and spheres that are just kind of like spinning in space. And you hear a buzzing sound and static, like a radio transmission that's coming over a very bad, faint signal. And what do you hear? I'm going to type it because I'm not going to say it. It sounds like several people talking at once. And they're all saying mostly the same thing. But sometimes two of the voices will say words that are the opposite of each other, like right and wrong, or choice and destiny. Like they'll be like opposites. But for the most part, it's several voices all saying the same thing. And here's what they say. I'm going to paste it. That. And then you wake up.
Yes.
You're awakened by the buzzer of the dryer. The buzzing and the static that you hear in your dream becomes the buzzing of the dryer, and you wake up. And then you're, oh, okay.
Review what just happened so it doesn't disappear like dreams normally do. And then that was weird. Eel mucus, yes, good stuff. Anyway,
Eels are apparently quite slimy. Wouldn't want to have like a truckload of those overturn on a freeway, but that'd be really messy. So,
Actually, that just happened a few days ago.
yeah, no, that's why.
That's
why.
They were slime eels.
Apparently so. Apparently so. So, maybe that's a complete coincidence, and it's just, Charlotte is just heard that on the radio on the drive down, and it's just playing through her head, and the dreaming's nothing. It's just, so probably perfectly harmless. Nothing, no meaning to it, I'm sure. Meanwhile, John Morgan comes back from the courthouse, the Scottsville County Courthouse, with his notes of genealogical information.
Yes, that is correct. And
where you meet Charlotte, who's coming out of the laundry room next to the restaurant/motel. Actually, the motel probably has a laundry room. Yeah, she's coming out of the laundry room. It's only got one washer and one dryer. It's not like a full laundromat, but it's completely adequate for their uses. Hey, look, hey, there's John Morgan. Or you didn't introduce yourself as that. You're like Leonard Zwick or something weird.
No, it's not Leonard Zwick. It's Dwayne Simpson with the 40 Times.
There you go. That guy. Dwayne or Wayne?
Dwayne.
Dwayne Simpson. Simpson, eh? So, yeah, Charlotte has a handful of clean clothes, and John Morgan has notes.
Yes, I will sit down with her. We'll compare notes.
In case you don't have the website open, I will paste the conspiracy, the genealogical. Oh, that is like almost impossible to read.
I have the website open, don't worry.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, well, never mind then. So,
Yep.
those are the names that were in the letters and who their descendants and or relatives are now. Mark Savage was going to go talk to whoever runs HP Garage. You both know that,
Yes.
but you have not seen him since then.
All right. Well, give him some time. We've got until what 8:30 before you have to go contact the UFO guide.
Yeah, it's probably that's only 2.5 hours between the time that the place that gift store closes. That's really not enough time to do do any searching.
Well, Lost World Caverns is about a half hour from Scottsville. It is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's in the mountains. You pass a house from time to time on the way there. It's not, desolate. Nothing. Because pretty much wherever you go where there's a road, you're going to run into people living there. But there are very, very, very few people between here and there. And so basically it's about a half hour away. And most of the land around it is like national park or something. Or just, mountain or swampland or whatever. And so that's about a half hour from here. They close at 6. So to be back from there in time to meet Sam Benton, the UFO guy, you'd have to leave there around 8, which will give you a couple of hours if you just head up there and wanted to look around. Depends on what you expect to find.
So, Brandon, just out of curiosity, what's the secret world?
Oh, it's a video game.
Oh, okay.
I'm stealing tons of ideas from it.
Fair enough. I stole a whole bunch of stuff from Elite Dangerous, so
Cool.
glass houses.
Well, I've not played Elite Dangerous, so that works for me as a player. And if you have not played Secret World, this should work for you as a player.
Exactly.
Secret World is more horror and less sci-fi. I'm spinning this as more sci-fi, so I'm changing a bunch of stuff. But a bunch of stuff I'm using.
I got that impression since there were a whole bunch of really, really, really creepy looking monsters in their concept art.
Indeed. Well, I may still use some of the concept art, but it'll be sci-fi based instead of horror based. Like there are no aliens in Secret World, whereas this is all aliens. It's all aliens. So.
All of it. Damn.
Anyway, so.
All right, so we'll sit around, compare notes, get dinner, and then at the appropriate time and the appropriate place, we'll go head out and talk to
Sam
our
Benton?
resident, our resident expert on alien lights in the sky.
Yeah. At some point, go. Yeah, at some point, go change clothes. So I'm not.
I will load up my computer bag with assorted potentially useful items and carry that with me.
Yep. Top up the
Sam
tank.
Benton.
Yay!
He's a friendly-looking guy. He might be like Chris Pine's older, less reputable brother. The guy who played the new Captain Kirk and the new Wonder Woman's sidekick. Anyway, so he seems like a basically decent guy. He clearly drinks a lot, and other than that, he's been nice to you. So I think that goes a long way.
Mhm.
So you head out to Sam Benton's place. Whoa!
Yes.
Which I am so pleased I found this, so I'm going to share it again.
Yeah.
Kitty!
I don't know why he suddenly just started leaping up onto my lap and hanging out. So
That's nice.
Sam Benton's
Ah,
place. Which I
a
just
palatial residence, to say the least.
love this.
I'm honestly surprised that there's actually an electrical meter box on the side of the building.
Mhm.
Well, it's not a barbarian. How you gonna power the refrigerator? How do you keep your beer cold without
And
electricity?
window air conditioner.
Anyway. So you get to his place. Let's see how ready he is. 7 or more, he's ready. 10. Awesome. He is ready.
That's
You
how
get
many
there-
beers he's had.
Oh, he's
Since we left him, at least.
yeah, at least. So, but he's there. He's loading up his pickup truck. In the back of his truck, he's putting a big cooler, one of those great big coolers, in the back, and sliding it up and bungee cording it into place so it doesn't slide out the back. And he sees you guys come up, and he walks toward you as your motorcycle,
Motorcycle.
as you guys ride up on the motorcycle.
Right on the back of the hot chick's motorcycle again.
That works. So he waits for you to like turn the bike off. It's like, okay. So there's one more, right? We waiting for one more?
I haven't seen him in a while. I believe he's been called away.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, that's too bad. Well, we can still go if you want.
Okay. Sure.
Definitely.
He gets into the truck, starts it up, and assuming you guys also get in the truck.
Yes.
If not, he'll say, get in the truck. You drive for about 15 minutes or so and pull off the road. Just off the road, there's like a... What do you call that? Like just a cleared place off of a normal street
Okay.
through the woods. And he gets out and he opens up the cooler and he grabs a couple of beers and he tucks them into pockets. And he gets a backpack and he puts beers into the backpack and then he puts that over his shoulder. And he goes, you guys feel free. It's included in the 20.
Thanks, I brought my own.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Milwaukee's best.
Yes,
And it's
it is.
cold. And he says, okay, everybody got a flashlight? No? Here, have a flashlight.
Yep.
And he's got flashlights, and he gives each person a flashlight. And he says, don't wander off. Stay near me. Stay where you can see me all the time. Because if you get lost, I may not be able to find you. So that would suck for you. So stay near me. And
I'll
don't
put on
wander
a
off.
set of light intensifier goggles.
Huh.
Like,
Well, that's fancy.
thank you.
Who did you say you were a reporter?
Yes. Fortean Times.
Hmm.
We study unusual phenomena and report on it.
Oh, I thought it was that financial newspaper.
No. And I'll give him the spiel about the Fortean Times being established in the UK in the 70s, and unusual phenomenon and UFOs and blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
etc.
Well, this is some unusual phenomenon right here. And
That's why I'm here.
as he takes you out walking into the woods, he'll start telling you the story. Him and his buddy Jim, Jim Johnson, they would always come out here hunting as kids and fishing. And he'll point in general direction. He's like, yo, there's a big creek over there, and there's like a smaller creek over there. There's some really good fishing up here if you guys are staying in town for a while. You don't want to do it at night because you'll get lost. But in the daytime, good fishing. Anyway, so back when we were kids, starting around, I don't know, I say 1990 or so, we would start seeing these pale white and green and yellow lights in the sky. And they would zoom around and sometimes they'd make patterns, and then they'd zoom around, and then they'd just whoosh, off into the sky, disappear. And probably 2-3 times a year we'd see these. Going back, well, like I say, since we were kids. The last time I saw them is probably about 5-6 months ago. So, but it's a perfect night for it. So, I think you got a good chance. Now, one time, I think I saw something that looked a lot like a flying saucer. Now, you may think, yeah, sure you did, but no, it was. But it wasn't exactly like you picture a flying saucer. It was more like flat and then like dented in the middle and thicker on the edges. Kind of like a donut, except sharp at the edges and not a hole in the middle, just a narrow place. But I only saw that once. That was like 2 years ago. And maybe it was a balloon. I don't know. I called the Air Force. I called Jim. He's in the Air Force now, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Mistake, by the way. Join the Air Force. He should never join. I don't, yeah, but whatever. I don't want to. Also, he's really quite drunk at this point, so he's kind of rambling a whole lot. And he'll go off on these weird tangents that have nothing to do with what you're actually interested in. And I'm not making you sit through that as players. Just know that it does happen. So when I'm taking you like 10 minutes to describe to you, takes him a good hour and a half because he goes off on these weird tangents. So the gist of it is you get that he feels a little hurt, actually, that his buddy Jim joined the Air Force and moved away. Jim said it was probably a weather balloon, not a flying saucer. Anyway, but they're still friends. He makes a point of saying that they're still friends and he'd still do anything for Jim. He just thinks it was a mistake for him to check up with that girl and join the Air Force. So, a couple hours go by, you see nothing.
All right. See if I can get from him where the lights in the sky would normally be seen.
No, this is it. Yeah. And he'll tell you why. Because there's a deer trail right over there that goes right down below you. You're kind of like on a hill. And right down below you, there's a deer trail. You can't really see it because it's dark. Well, he'll get this flashlight and he'll like aim it, and you can kind of see what he's talking about. And it's like right along there. Right at dusk and first thing in the morning, you'll get deer crossing right through here. And that's usually where we saw them. I mean, this is where we'd be when we would see them most of the time. And he'll point to a part of the sky over there. Usually that part of the sky over there.
Where you normally would see them from, and they would actually show up over there.
Right.
You've never tried to track where over there is?
Well, that's just woods. More woods. No, you can go this way for like 100 miles. It'd just be woods. Well, you'll hit mountains at some point. And on the other side of the mountains is a little bit more of Virginia. And then you hit, I think over there's West Virginia, but it might be Tennessee. I'm not positive. But we're talking 100 miles more. I mean, you can't walk there. Well, I mean, you could walk there, I guess. But, I mean, somebody did once upon a time. A long time ago. But, I mean, you wouldn't want to. I would want to. You guys want any beef jerky? He digs some beef jerky out of his backpack. Teriyaki.
Sure.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If you are judges of human character, make a roll for that. And I'll tell you what you got to roll. Hang on.
I work with dead people.
I dissect dead people. But if you want to be a judge of human character and get like a vibe off of Sam, 2d6, and you want to hit a 10.
Even unskilled, I just rolled a 9 on the dice. So
Yeah, what the heck.
All right. Well, as far as you
I
can tell,
rolled- I rolled an 11.
okay. John Morgan, you don't perceive good, bad, or indifferent anything other than what he's putting out. You paid him. He's here. He didn't say there'd be UFOs. He just said he's seen them here. And he didn't even say UFOs. He said lights in the sky and a flying saucer. But you don't really pick up anything good, bad, or indifferent past that. Charlotte, you get the impression that when he says he saw the lights in the sky, he believes that he saw them. And he's a little disappointed that you're not seeing them now, but not surprised. He didn't actually expect to see them tonight because he's only seen them 2 or 3 times a year. So, the odds of you seeing them are actually really slim. And he apparently knew that when he wanted your $20.
Fair enough.
But he didn't lie to you about it. He didn't say it was a guarantee.
And we now know the location, so hey, $20 well spent. And he's pointed in a general direction, so we can always, in daylight, see if there's anything out there. Google map it.
Well, he'll stay out there and. I'm sorry, what?
pull up my phone, get the GPS coordinates, take some pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. He'll be happy to stay out there until the beer in his backpack runs out. At which point, he says, "Well, I'm sorry, folks. You win some, you lose some. If you want to stay out here longer and keep looking, we can do that. But I'd want $20 more each, and I need to go back to the truck to get some more beer."
Dwayne, shall we try back to head back?
Right. So.
Yeah.
So we done for the night?
We're done. Thank you very much for taking us out here.
Well, I'm sorry. Like I say, I've only seen them out here a few times a year, but
it happens.
Maybe you try again. You get lucky next time.
Yeah.
All right, he drives you back to his place, bids you a good night, goes inside.
All right. Head over to the caverns.
Yes.
All right, let's see what we can see there then.
Yeah, it's time for some B&E.
You get to the caverns, Lost World Caverns. It's around 10:30 when you get there, and the gift shop is a small building, probably about the size of Kieran's living room and kitchen that we can see. It's like if you look at that, the building is about that size. It's one story. The walls are stone, like rocks about yay big, with mortar between them, stacked up to make a building. It's probably historic of some kind. Outside, there's a small parking lot that's gravel, and on the outside of the gift shop building, there are lights that aim and illuminate the parking lot. But there are no cars in the parking lot at this time.
It suggests to my driver that she park around the back of the building.
Plus, yeah, if that's possible. Or at least not in the driveway in the light. Somewhere that I cannot be seen.
Okay. The lights are on two sides of the stone building, aiming at the parking lot. So you pull around one of the other two sides of the building, and you are in, really, it's like pitch blackness, because there's no city light anywhere nearby. The only light nearby is from the sky, and the lights on the other two sides of the building.
Well, I'm presuming at least one of those four sides is attached to a mountain.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're right. It's up against a hill. It's like built into a hill, basically.
Yeah. Kind of like the caves we went to, that Donald and I went to this last weekend.
Really?
Except that was a 2-story building. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, get out my lockpicks and break into the cavern.
Yes.
You are surrounded by the sounds of bugs and frogs. It is almost deafening, the amount of like crickets and croaks and squeaks and chirps from the woods around you. It's if you're not used to it, you guys are both from New York, right? So you are not used to it. It is.
No, I am a die-hard city kid too.
It is almost. If you didn't know that it was normal, you might think that something really freaky is going on, but in fact, this is just what it always sounds like. But you can be a little freaked out if you want.
He can be freaked out. I'm somewhat in touch with nature. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember this from my childhood. I don't miss it.
it's
Talking about
no
the city is at night. It's got nothing on this.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, because you have all the time in the world, and there's no alarm or anything on the lock, there's no penalty for you trying over and over again. You can simply keep trying until you succeed.
Okay.
You eventually succeed. So no point in rolling.
Yay.
Because there's why would there be? I'm not going to just make you roll over and over again until you succeed. Eventually you will. So eventually you pick the lock. It is on there's a door that leads into the gift shop. Outside the door is a metal frame with like it's not wire. It's very thick, not as thick as my fingers. About as thick as a pencil. Imagine a lattice of pencil thick metal, like a grid. There's a word for it, and I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, but that is essentially a gate in front of the door, and that has a big ass padlock, yay big. But you eventually pick that and swing the door open, and then the door behind that also has a lock, but it's a much simpler lock. It's just a common, key lock. You pick that in no time, and you go in. And it is cooler inside than outside. The air conditioning is still running because they don't want things to like melt overnight. And it's kind of hot this time of year in the daytime. Like right now, it's around 80 degrees. In the daytime, earlier today, midday, it was pushing upper 90s. So it's just like freaking hot. You're in a room. There are a couple of like low-level lights here and there that come from other things. Like there's a wireless router over there on a shelf. So there's like a blue glow in that area. And over there, there's a couple of like little science toys that are plugged in on display that are kind of glowing and bubbling or humming or whatever. Stuff to sell to kids or to parents of kids. So.
Right.
Nobody's in here. There are no alarms that you've seen.
Okay.
Actually, make a, let's see, what would John be up to? Sounds like a Slacker network engineer. Yeah. 2d6 plus 3 for your Slacker network engineer. Because
9.
that's all you needed. Not a great roll, but still, you need an 8. As you come in, the doors you came in were just ordinary everyday locks. There's no like electronic locks or anything. But as soon as you walk in, it occurs to you that they probably do have an alarm of some kind. So you glance around and you see up on the wall a alarm type keypad deal, like number key and little LED screen, green.
An ADT panel, yeah.
There you go. Should probably do something about that.
Oh, okay. Well, walk over there and disarm that too.
That you need to roll, because if you fail, police will come eventually.
All right. Rolled a 6.
Wow, you were really sucking today. What is that, total of 6?
No, 6 on the dice.
Oh, 9.
That's either a 9 or an 11.
Do you want to use your Agent of Chaos type skills for that?
Yes. In which case, what I'll do is, if I can't immediately figure it out, I know there's a bypass on these things. It's the equivalent of basically calling up ADT and saying, "Yeah, I can't remember my passcode number," and because the only reason I know this is because we have one of these at work too, and they'll hold the alarm for a certain period of time.
Okay. Well, you have with your trusty Leatherman tool, which I'm sure you have, you pop open a cover plate, and on the inside it's got instructions for what to do in just this sort of situation.
Yep.
And because, in the modern future we live in, there's like caller ID, right? So if you call them from the phone right over there at the desk, they'll
Right.
know you're calling from here. So you
Correct.
just go and call them. Is that what you do?
Yes.
And you can literally read the code off of the inside of the thing and read it to them. And the $7.75 an hour employee at the other end of the line confirms the number and says, okay, we'll put a hold on this until... So have you lost your code, or...
I just can't remember it.
Okay. Do you need the
Trying
code
to
reset?
sound-
Do you need to send a
trying to
technician
sound-
out to reset it? Because there'll be a charge for that of $45.
Okay, well, I'll make up some dumb excuse, some lame excuse, like, okay, well, let me call my manager and see if I can get her code, and then that way I can put in her code and everything will be fine.
Okay. In this case, because they're going through a flowchart. Okay.
Right. They're
I
reading off the
will
screen.
put a hold on the alarm for 90 minutes. And that
Oh,
should
thank
be
you.
enough time
That'll be
for
fine.
you
Yeah, that'll-
to contact your manager. And if you still need the code reset, you can call back at that time, and we'll send out a technician, and they'll reset the code.
Great, that's awesome. Thanks.
Thank you for
Great.
using ADT.
I'll turn to my partner in crime and go, well, we got an hour and a half.
Okay.
Then what?
All right, let's get moving then.
So yeah, go find the cavern.
Yes, on the way in, I pulled out a big mag light out of my saddlebag because everybody needs a big mag light in their saddlebag.
Indeed you do. And Sam took back his flashlights after you guys came back to his house, so you don't get free flashlights out of the deal. Not for $20. Anyway, so you have your mag light, and John has his low vision goggles. The door to the caverns is similar, it's almost identical to the door that was covering the exterior door. It's a metal frame with a metal lattice work over it and a big ass padlock. And you eventually pick the lock in the padlock. It's just a matter of time. And then you open that door and you walk down I'm assuming, I'll describe it to you. You open that door and you see very steep steps going down and a cool breeze coming out of the ground from this hallway that goes down these very steep steps. The very steep steps appear to be stone.
Okay, head down the steps.
It is pitch black. Oh, at some point you'll pass like a box about yay big with like a big flip switch kind of deal on it. Do you want to turn the lights on?
No.
No?
No one can see the lights on except when you're inside. In fact, the one we had lights with separate switches all throughout the cave, so they only had lights on in certain sections.
This is true.
I just don't want to turn the lights on because I don't want to complete an electrical circuit that shouldn't be on at this point.
Very true. But between the two of us, we should be fine. Light wise.
Sneaky. Okay, well with your flashlights and low vision stuff, you go down these very steep steps, and essentially it's a cavern. I mean, you guys have both been to these cavern things, right?
Yep.
So,
don't touch the crystal stuff.
Right. It's moist and cool, and there's like pathways, and There are areas where the path has been built up to make it level, and you look off to each side, and there's openings that go out into the ground that have like stalagmites and stalactites and pools of water and stuff like that. It's actually quite nifty. However, you only get about 50 feet into it, which is not very far. You get about 50 feet into it, and the path in front of you is completely blocked by a landslide of pebbles and rubble and dirt and mud going from your right to left. And while you might be able to climb over it, you would get very, very muddy. And if it slid more, you would slide that way. And that way, you aim your flashlight and you're like, well, that might be a ledge or it might be a chasm. It's hard to say from this angle. So.
Let's see.
Well, I'm not going to let this stop me, so.
You what?
Stop me, so.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can clear or at least find a path and start cautiously making my way across the slide.
This will be a roll.
Okay.
So let's see. What would be the thing that do you have anything that would be appropriate for climbing across a rock slide? I'm not sure you do.
Getting into places I shouldn't be. So this isn't really my forte. I'm mostly better with buildings.
Yeah, I don't think this really. This doesn't really qualify. So, yeah, you can roll 2d6. You just don't add anything.
All right.
And we'll see what happens.
I rolled a 10.
Damn. Somehow, you have several oh shit moments where like you're and then the shit starts sliding underneath you, and you're like and it like it stops, and you make your way, and it's the distance between this side of the path to the other side of the rock slide. It's only about 15 feet, but it seems a lot longer. But you get to the other side, and you wave the flashlight over at Charlotte, and you made it! Yay!
While he's doing that, me
what are you doing?
teleport. I'm teleporting. Screw this rock climbing crap. While he's doing it, so he doesn't see.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let's see. Actually, you're going a very short way, and you're going to spend a weird pool point on it. You need to make an 8. So 2d6 plus your magiciness, which was, what was that for you? Plus 4. So 2d6 plus 4, you need an 8.
I have a 10.
Zowie. Okay, you do whatever it is witchy thing that you do, and you disappear from one side and reappear to the other side.
Climb down the rock slide, look at her, perfectly deadpan. Nobody likes a wise ass.
What? I just washed this outfit.
Oh, yeah. He is, you look at him, he's like mud. He's like solid mud from shoulders down to his shoes.
It's clay, too. That's going to be fun to clean.
All kinds of fun.
You don't get dirty, you're not doing it right.
Obviously.
So, what are your goals here? What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to figure out what's on the other side of the damn rock slide.
Yeah.
Okay. Rather than put you through an hour of roaming through a dark cave, if you have something you think is related to examining geological formations, make that roll. Tell me what you get.
No. I'm going to roll a 6 and roll a 9.
What are we doing? That's not right.
Let's see where's my character sheet again. Where's my page go?
It's vaguely scientific, so if you want to use your forensic pathology thing, I'd be okay with that.
All right. Where's my character sheet?
I mean, you
Supposed to
took
be here.
science and geology and
Yes.
stuff in school.
That's true. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So, oh, right. All right. So, wish I knew where my stuff was. Anyways, crud! I rolled a 6. That would be a bonus of
3.
3. All right. So 9.
9. So you both got 9s. All right. Neither of you are geologists or cave explorers professionally, but you're looking around, you see nothing unusual. This to you just looks like a rock slide in a cave. There's no weirdness. There's nothing tweaking John Morgan's paranoia about conspiracies. There's nothing that Charlotte thinks is vaguely supernatural feeling. She's not getting a vibe from it. To both of you, it just seems like you're in a cave and there's a rock slide, and well, you know, the world's an imperfect place. Sometimes rocks slide. So
You know, I get covered with mud for this.
you certainly
I
do.
know. Where is my?
I at least want some kind of inexplicable light or shadowy figure on my camera images. But no, nothing happened.
You got nothing.
Oh,
So can you get back onto the other side of the rock slide without me having to climb through the mud again, or shall I just get started?
I've never tried that before. Oh.
I take somebody with you.
Okay.
You'd need to roll a 10 total.
I could try if you want to trust it.
What
Of course,
happens if
stick
you
it in.
fail?
I don't know.
Maybe something bad. Maybe something good.
Maybe something, nothing at all.
Okay. You know what? I'll just get muddy again. Thanks.
Do I have to roll again to do it across, or because let's see, have I rested today? It's the same day, right? Did I rest? I
It's
don't
the
remember.
same day. We're gonna just fast forward a little bit. Because it would
Yeah.
suck for me if you guys fell into a chasm at this point
Yeah.
in the game. Because on a certain level that would be entertaining, but no, that's not where we want this to go. So Charlotte teleports back to where she came from. You climb back across the rocks. You grab a stalagmite at one point to keep your balance, and you're gonna feel horrible about that later. But oh well, you had to do it. Otherwise, you're gonna slide into a chasm. So you get back and you lock up behind you, and you leave the gift shop. Is that what happens? Take any souvenirs?
Guess
I'm just
so.
curious because they've got some really nifty little science toys. Little
I'm not
stuffed
that
stalagmite
thief.
with like a smiley face on it.
I'm not a thief, so the only way to take it is if I left them the cash. And no, just trinkets. Stuff is so material.
It's true.
I'll leave them the price of admission in Monopoly money.
Excellent. Muddy Monopoly money.
Oh, there's a bathroom. You can wash your hands at least.
Oh, good.
So,
I will do that. Yes.
so where do you go after this? As a brief reminder, because it's been a week, the things you were asked to look into were the lights in the sky, the mutated fish, and the
Yep.
rock slide.
Yep.
How does one go about checking mutated fish?
That was the next thing I was thinking. I was like, well,
I
I
could
could.
report, I guess.
Well, is it a federal fish hatchery?
Oh, okay. Well, see if we can find out where the federal fish hatchery is.
Well, you have no cell phone signal where you are. Although,
Right, let's-
actually, there's an internet signal, and you could very easily, well, John Morgan at least could very easily hack into that and get internet access and look it up. So
There's no
we'll
reason to
just
stay here, though. So let's head back to our hotel so I can, wash 500 pounds of yuck off.
Hey, there's a washer and
Okay.
dryer for that.
let's see. So you get back to the okay. So 10:30. Give you a half hour looking around. 11, 12. So let's say around midnight or so. John's put his muddy stuff into a washing machine and is in his other clean clothes he brought with him, assuming.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like midnight, 12:15. Excuse me, 12:15.
Start looking up where the federal fish hatchery is.
It's up that way, up the river, because Scottsville's on a river, and if you go that way about 20 minutes, you'll get to the federal fish hatchery.
Okay.
You can even see pictures of it on Google and stuff. It's essentially like a building with a couple of like Olympic size concrete swimming pool size things. Actually, judging from the photos, you think there's three. And the whole area is surrounded by like 12-foot tall chain link fence.
Hmm.
And if you look on the website for the Department of Fish and Game, it tells you why there is a federal fish hatchery and what their goal is, and so on and so forth. It had its beginnings back in the Keepone era of the 1970s in Virginia, when the Chesapeake Bay was so toxic that it was killing the fish.
Right.
And that's why the federal fish hatchery here was set up to breed fish to introduce into the waterways to eventually repopulate the Chesapeake Bay. And it's been running here since then.
Sounds all right.
Right. Well, I see no reason why we should go sneaking in there at night. Let's just go there in the morning and ask them about the report.
Yeah, I could always, throw the, could always use the fact that I have well, I don't have a PhD, I only have an MD, but I know how to talk the talk.
You can have a PhD if you want one. You are a doctor. Doesn't that come with a PhD, or is that a different thing?
No, that's a different thing. You can have both, but it takes a couple extra years, and you have to do, and then on top of that, you have to do postdoc. So it's an extra 3 or 4 years.
Whatever works for you. So
Sure.
you hit the hay.
Yes.
Cool. John Morgan essentially has the same dream that Charlotte had earlier. Like the details differ a little bit, but I'm not going to go through it again. So you're somewhere. It's a desert, and it seems to go forever, and yet the horizon seems bizarrely close, like 500 feet away. And there's a stream of asteroids going across the sky, and the Milky Way, and platonic solids kind of spinning in space, and static and a buzzing sound, and this message of lots of people talking at once. And then you wake up, and it's morning.
Well, that was intriguing.
Just a dream.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And other than that, get ready for the day and wait for Charlotte to go visit the fish hatchery.
Yes.
Mark Savage's car is parked outside the motel, but he is nowhere to be found.
Hmm.
Well, he said he was headed for the gas station yesterday, right?
Yes.
All right, well, maybe we should check out the gas station first to see if he made it there.
Yeah. Probably need should probably top up the tank anyways.
Fair enough.
All right, head over to the gas station.
You head to the HP garage, where you meet Jenna Laurier. And here's what Jenna Lawyer looks like. She runs the HP garage. She's not the person who greets you when you pull up because it's self-serve. And there's somebody working behind the counter who takes money and serves hot dogs on stale rolls and things of that nature. But she's in the garage if you want to talk to her.
Okay.
You don't have to.
Just find out if Donald's character was here yesterday. And
Oh, she says, oh, yeah, Mark, right?
yes.
About yay tall, kind of intense. But
Yes.
no, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to engines. Yeah, he was here. He came by. I showed him my uncle's, well, the Pierce Arrow, and we chatted for a bit, and then he left. That was around 6. It was around closing time.
Oh, okay. Did you see which way he went? Back towards the hotel, or?
I got the impression he was going back to his hotel. Well, Lumpkins, probably. And but I didn't actually see him go, so I'm going to say no.
Right.
Is he?
All right. Well, I
Is
appreciate
he missing?
We probably just missed him. We're trying to catch up with him.
Oh, well, if he comes by again, I'll tell him you were looking. And your name is?
Dwayne Simpson. Enter my card.
40 in times. Is that one of those like ultra conservative things?
Explain phenomenon.
Like, oh, like the lights in the sky. He asked about that.
Yes.
That's not real.
That's what it verified.
She says that, but you immediately get the impression that she's saying that to try to convince herself, not you.
Anyway,
Anyway,
thank you.
yeah. Okay. Well, if he comes back around, I'll tell him you're looking for Mr. Simpson and Miss Charlotte. She puts your card on like a rolling toolbox thing and goes back to work on a Honda Civic.
Go back and check Savage's car for clues. I wouldn't really know a clue if it bit me, but you know, a rotting corpse in the trunk is kind of obvious.
There's no rotting corpse. There's no sign of foul play. Looks like the car was parked here, locked, and that's where it's sat since whenever.
Right, break in and search it.
Wait, what?
So break in and search it.
You don't find anything unusual inside.
Damn. I'm disappointed in Donald. I really am.
Well, if there is anything unusual, I don't know what it is. So
Oh, okay.
you can ask him later what you found, but as far as I know, there's nothing unusual inside.
When he keeps
Oh,
usual
wait,
stuff
I wonder. Hey, Karen, where do you think Donald would have put the fat envelope full of euros and dollars?
he would have it on him.
He probably would, wouldn't he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
he
in his
wouldn't leave it in the
luggage.
car.
No.
No, apparently he's not a Navy SEAL on the run out for justice or anything. I mean, there's not a trunk full of weaponry or explosives or.
So disappointing.
Oh, you do find in the trunk a bicycle.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how he fits a bicycle in the trunk of his car. Maybe it folds, but there's a bicycle in the trunk of the car.
It's a really big car.
Yeah,
I get the impression it is a really big car, but even so.
If it's anything like his current car, you could probably fit a regular sized bicycle in that trunk.
There's a bicycle in the trunk.
All right.
Like sideways.
All right, be that as it may. Clues. So let's continue on and find out what the Department of Fisheries has to say.
You drive 20 minutes, you get there, it looks just like the pictures you found online. There is a big 12-foot tall chain link fence. Because this is a normal day, I mean it's daytime, right? The big gates at the driveway are open, And there's a couple of cars parked outside the one 2-story concrete building next to the enormous Olympic-sized fishing pool, swimming pool pools.
Fish ponds, right?
There you go. Yeah, the ponds are not clear like swimming pools. They are kind of a brownish green, and they are opaque. You cannot see through the water at all.
Got it.
And it's right on the river. Like, there's like concrete, and then a little bit of dirt, and then river.
Got it. Go through the front door like I own the place.
Would there be a receptionist? It's not really someplace where the public comes. So, no, there's not a receptionist. There's a hallway with offices, and there are people in a few of those offices.
Put my head into the first office as we go along.
There's a guy with shoulder-length hair, and he's dressed kind of like Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter guy, and he looks up at you, and he goes, "Hey, can I help you?"
Who wrote the report that we found about the mutated fish?
It's a name.
Okay. I will tell him
John,
I'm looking for
John
that.
Smith. John Smith.
Yeah. I'm looking for Dr. Smith. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Johnny's, I think he's here today. Hang on. He gets up, does not ask you for ID or who you are or anything. He just gets up and walks down the hall, 2-3 doors down, and he looks into an office and says, "Hey, John, you here? Oh, I got some folks looking for you." And there's a older, balding guy in a white dress shirt with short sleeves and a tie and glasses, and he's typing at a word processor, and he looks up at that guy, and he looks up at you, and he goes, "Can I help you?"
I'm headed to my card. Dwayne Simpson. I'm with the Floridian Times. I'm here in response to a report that you submitted, and I'll name the date and time that he submitted the report concerning fish mutation.
I wrote that report, and it's a matter of public record.
Yes.
Did you have questions?
Just wondering if you could elaborate on the information that was provided in the report.
No. I provided all of the information in the report, so.
Follow-up done on it?
Sorry, what?
There wasn't a follow-up done on it?
Well, we did 40 in times.
Dissecting the fish in question, seeing if there was a mutation that had been introduced into the strain.
He has no idea. He rolls bad. He doesn't know who or what 40 in times is. You're clearly a journalist of some kind, so he's going to go on that basis. He'll go, "Well, Mr. Simpson."
Yes.
We did do analysis on the fish in question and the water the fish are in, and while they do seem to be mostly at the northern pool, we don't have a reason for it yet, which is all information that was in my report.
Doctor. So no genetic testing yet. Results yet so far. No. You haven't. I'm a scientist.
Okay, you science him. Hang on, I'm closing the door. I dropped a bunch of cashew crumbs. All right. He's like, "Well, now hang on a minute. No, we didn't do any genetic testing. I mean, what kind of genetic testing would we do? No, we did testing for heavy metals, contaminants, iron, minerals. We've tested the river. We've tested the water. The water's clean. The river's clean. I mean, it's a small trace amounts of iron and minerals like you would find, but nothing unusual."
I said to be expected.
Exactly. And
elements. You're certainly going to find a certain amount of, any number of different items in a mountainous area like this.
Exactly. So now He looks at Charlotte, who does not have a standard look because she's kind of gothy, right? He's like,
Yep.
journalist. Okay. Anyway, so, well, none of this is classified in any way. So, I mean, if you'd like to look at the reports, I mean, now,
I'd love to
of
look at
course,
the report.
of course, we didn't do the analysis in house, of course. Actually, my superior, Mr. Thompson, is the one who actually took the samples of the organic samples from the fish and the water samples and the soil
Again,
samples from.
To be expected. Again, to be expected that you
Right.
you do the
So-
analysis outside of him.
But he had it done, and here's the report that I was given, and he'll like flip through some pages, and he'll hand you a manila folder. Now you can't take that with you, but if you want to make a Xerox, you can. It's 2 doors down.
Oh. Well, thank you. I'd appreciate it.
Have you removed all the specimens from the population, or are they still any amongst the pools?
That is an excellent question, he says, because this was. I actually disagreed very strongly with Mr. Thompson about this. I thought that we should remove these contaminated, mutated cultivars from the pool, but I was overruled.
That's strange.
He said that it was like a sport mutation, something that was simply happens from time to time, and it's nothing we should worry about. So we should simply release them into the river, and everything will be fine. I disagreed very strongly, and in fact I filed a report on that. I have a copy of that here as well. He looks. This guy's like old school. He's older than me. I mean, he's like 60. So everything he does, he prints out and saves. So he goes, okay, now here's a copy of the letter that I wrote to Mr. Thompson and also to the head of the Department of Game and Fisheries, and making it clear I disagreed with that decision. Now, I'll show you this, but I don't think it would be appropriate for you to make a copy.
Agreed.
Hands to you.
That's acceptable.
Because I think that would be considered internal communication. I don't think we should be publishing that.
Fully understand your need for privacy. I will make copies of everything else.
Cool. He doesn't follow you to the Xerox machine. It's like 2 doors down. It's the size of a huge ass desk. It's this huge thing. It's got like, you can collate like 18,000 copies and like double-sided and reverse and automatically stapled. It's like this limousine of Xerox machines. Anyway, but oh yeah, there's no like code or anything to use it. You just go down there and you put stuff in, and if you can figure out the controls, you can use it.
Thank him and tell him that I agree with his conclusion.
Oh, do you want any coffee? There's a coffee mess just past the Xerox machine room.
Thank you.
But yeah, make copies of all of his paperwork that he'll. I really don't care if we have a copy of his complaint form. So
Scan through read through the complaint form to see if there's anything interesting in it. But other than that, yeah, then give it back to him.
If you have something related to government cover-ups, make a roll for that. 2d6 plus whatever. And you would need, what would you need? Let's see. Detecting a government cover-up based on their own internal documents. Let's call that a 10. Need a 10.
I rolled a 10 exactly.
Are you rolling, Kieran, or are you just letting him do it?
I don't have anything that would look
Oh, that's fine then. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, you guys are looking through the stuff as you're Xeroxing it, and John's looking at stuff. And the thing that comes to your attention is that nobody who actually works here was involved with testing of the water or dirt, soil on the river or the fish. It was all sent out, and you don't even have the actual test results. You have Mr. Thompson's summary of the test results, which is a red flag.
Yes.
Because usually test results are like that, are part of public information.
Normally, actually, yeah, this is something that Charlotte would totally know on a bureaucracy level. Normally, test results are attached. I mean, it's just like normal. You know, if you're doing a autopsy on somebody and you're testing them for, I don't know, heroin or whatever, and you submit your report. Yeah, addendum 1 is the actual test results that show the lines of various heavy metals and toxicants and things. That the fact that those are missing from these reports and are simply summarized by Mr. Thompson, that is suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
I will ask him if he has a copy of the original test result.
Or at least sloppy. Well, you come back and he says, no, as a matter of fact, I don't. We were not given that. I have asked for that. In fact, I have a form here where I submitted a formal request for that. If you want to take a look at that. He pulls it out and he says, look, I specifically requested to see the analysis because, I mean, there are several reasonable explanations that could account for these mutations. Mercury, and he names a bunch of other weird chemical names. It's like, but we weren't given that information, so
that's not normal for you. Normally,
I mean, how are we supposed to maintain the health of the Piscine environment without having this information?
You would think that would be pro forma, yeah.
You would think. I mean, do you realize how heavily humanity depends on a thriving oceanographic and river-based ecosystem? He clearly cares a lot about that. Why else would he would have a doctorate in it and be working in this cube?
All right,
cares.
so
this guy really cares about what he does.
Find out which laboratory did the tests.
It's somewhere in a footnote, and you find it.
Hmm.
It's a local lab. It's, Modesta Chemical Laboratories.
All right.
By local, I mean it's 50 miles from here. It's an hour's drive. But
So
by local, I mean it's not in Los Angeles. It's
right.
Local-ish.
But one more question is since they wouldn't let you get rid of the fish, have you released them already, or they or?
Yes. Yeah. Now, I've been monitoring the populations and the percentage of incidence of these mutations, and it does seem to be dropping off drastically. So my theory is that it was an environmental factor that caused, based on the life cycle of these particular, he names a Latin name that is a particular kind of trout, and it's based on the life cycle of these particular fish, he thinks it was an environmental factor introduced around 7 months ago that spiked just after their gestation period and then became apparent in the adult populations, which is when we noticed them, and has dropped off sharply since then. So now we're seeing maybe one incidence in.
The genetic line is basically smoothing out.
So no mutagenetic effects.
Right. So I don't think there's any long-term damage being done, but I do think there's something going on, or went on, that we're being kept in the dark about, and I don't think that's right.
I see.
And I hope that I had made that clear in my report to the DGOF, but so far, you and somebody from Mother News, I think it was called Mother News, Mother something. Anyway,
Mother Earth News.
Could be, but that was a few days ago. And they came asking the same questions you were asking.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, thank him profusely for all of his time and effort, and tell him that we'll be pursuing it. And if we get any more information, then we'll be sure to pass it on to him.
Oh, I'd appreciate that. Now you understand, nothing that I've told you can be on the record attributed to me, right? Because as a federal employee, I'm not allowed to say anything like that. I've shared with you what was public knowledge in publicly published reports. And it's important that when you write your article that you make that clear.
Yes, sir. And I do understand that, yes.
Okay. Well, I hope you...
We attempt to maintain our journalistic integrity.
I appreciate that. All right.
And
Feel free to have some coffee before you go. And do you want to look around? I mean, you're here. It's actually very interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, yes.
It's actually not very interesting. But
yeah.
he'll walk you around the various fish hatcheries. There's like smaller pools where like little little baby fish are, and they release them into larger pools where they grow to adulthood and they get fed. And then there's these great big pools where they mature, and then there's these great big sluice gates where they just dump these pools out into the river. And there are 3 of them, and they're all at various stages of gestational development. So at any given time, there's usually one that has mostly adults and one's, not. And that's how the whole thing works. The thing you might notice is that the northernmost pool is next to a small building, which is corrugated metal and padlocked and not labeled.
Offhand, I'll ask, and what's that?
Oh, toxic chemicals. That's where we keep the toxic chemicals. Because you would be surprised the number of parasites and infectious diseases that can be introduced to the piscine environment. Now, normally, he gestures at the river, the natural ecosphere, the biosphere, keeps these things in check in the natural environment. But here, where it's extremely artificial, we have to do these things artificially. And it may take only trace amounts to deal with, let's say, hookworms, for example. Well, we don't buy trace amounts. We buy them by 50-gallon drums. And you need to store that somewhere because, heaven forbid a 50-gallon drum of hookworm medication fell into one of these pools. You'd have all kinds of horrific things happening. It might kill the fish or worse. So that's why they're all locked up here safely in this little building.
I see.
By the northernmost pool, which just coincidentally happens to be where the mutated fish were. Yeah. He doesn't say that, but that's obvious to you.
All right.
And that's it.
And
not
we
a
will
lot to
thank
see.
him for his time.
Hmm?
We will thank him for his time.
Yes.
Oh, he thanks you for your time. This has been the most fun he's had all week. Normally, his day is measuring fish and writing a report about that measurement.
Got it.
In case that's not clear to you, as you compare notes and think about this later, the clear implication is that there was some kind of toxic chemical spill which caused fish mutations. This guy's boss covered it up, and it's a one-time thing, and there's no alien involvement or government. Well, there's technically a government cover-up because they're covering up that happened.
But it's a perfectly mundane government cover-up.
It's a completely ordinary, mundane, boring government cover-up.
Somebody screwed up, and they're trying to hide it.
Yeah. And you get the sincere impression that this fellow who wrote that report wasn't in on it.
Yeah, it just happened that he wrote the report, and it was in the same place where the lights in the sky thing happened and the rock slide happened. I'm getting the impression that all 3 of these are just perfectly natural. They just all happen to have happened in the same place.
I would understand why you might think that. It has nothing to
do with any of these 3 things. It's got something to do with the whatever family genealogy that we were sent the information about.
Yeah.
So you leave the federal fish hatchery,
yes,
knowing that someday you will revisit the wily bucket mouth. But anyway, sorry, that's a completely random thing. All right, so federal fish hatchery, you're done with that. It's lunchtime. Mark Savage, still absent, oddly enough. and his car is still in the parking lot.
All right. I'm going to take a break here for a minute, run into the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Do you think?
Drink break real quick.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I need to introduce some weirdness. That's what I think. Because so far, today's investigation has been entirely too ordinary. So let's try introducing some weirdness. Son of a gun. I think I may have something. So where are we going?
I still haven't heard from Donald. I just texted him. Are you alive?
Well, I hope he's alive. That'd be very sad if he wasn't.
Yes, it would be. Very sad. I'd be very upset. But I'm just teasing.
So that's Philadelphia.
I got these from Donald, but I think if I'm going to keep using headphones, I'm going to have to get Bluetooth.
The wires bug you?
Yeah, and the fact that I can't get up and just go to get a drink without,
I love mine. They are... Hang on, I'll tell you what kind they are. Because I don't remember. Logitech 9 something. Devices. Typing, autoplay, USB. No. Bluetooth. G930. Logitech wireless gaming headset. G930. And these are fantastic. I love these things.
Price is okay. You get what you pay for.
I'm sorry, say what?
I said the price is okay. Did you get what you pay for?
I don't recall how much they cost. I think I got some off Amazon, like an open box deal.
Yeah, because these are like $90.
Yeah, that's kind of pricey. Hang on a second. Gotta kiss Susan goodnight.
Of course. Oh, here we go.
Nice. You see some that are like open box deals? Because Amazon's really good on those, because most of the time they're just a box that got like kicked and it's not actually open box, it's just like dented, and you get like $15 off of it. So, you know, screw the box.
$45 versus 90.
Yeah, just make sure it's actually shipped from Amazon and not somebody else, because
Yeah.
if it's not shipped from Amazon, it's a lot iffy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right, Brandon, I think we've done our due diligence as far as the weird phenomenon are concerned.
I think you have as well.
When we get back to the hotel, start doing a much more in-depth search on all of the families that were mentioned in that genealogy, including the current scions of those families. And find out who they are.
Okay, I have something for you. You come back to the motel. You wash your clothes. Wait, no, you went to the fishery. You already clean. You came back.
Yes.
And you're looking stuff up. And both of you, at the same time, have a vision. And what you see or hear in your vision is this. It's less of a vision and more of a transmission. Like it interfere. You feel like you're not awake for a minute, and it's all like static and messages and voices talking, and then you're back where you were, wherever that was, sitting on a motorcycle at a stoplight. Actually, this is perfect. Scottsville only has like 2 stoplights. So you're at one of those, and the light's red, and Charlotte's sitting on the bike and waiting for the light to turn green, and then you get this, and it's like, and this many voices saying very similar but not exactly the same things, and you both hear and or perceive this message, and then you are kind of woken up by it, by a car horn honking behind you because the light in front of you is green.
Take off.
Okay. Did you just hear that?
Nope. I'm assuming you heard something about Philadelphia and
yeah, something in investigation protocols. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you didn't hear that?
I didn't do that, but I did hear that.
You get back to Lumpkins.
Yes.
Mark Savage's car is still there. Mark Savage is still not.
All right. Write down as much as I can remember about what just happened in that particular little incident, and what I can remember about what happened in the last little incident.
As far as the thing you mentioned a minute ago, which is the scions of this, that, and the other.
The various families, yes.
Okay. I will tell you stuff. All right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead and look them up online and see what I can find out about them.
Okay, Ruth Warner wrote a letter. She married Frank Dempsey. They had a son named Bill Dempsey. You haven't run into that name other than there. Kermit Lawyer, the uncle of Jenna Lawyer. Jenna Lawyer runs HP Garage. Her father, David Lawyer, was the D lawyer in the photo. And Kermit is her uncle, who gave her the car, which is in a photo, and who moved to Philadelphia to run Fort Dodge Labs. Halcyon Schroyer, who wrote one of the letters, is the aunt of Eloise Schroyer, who married Theodore Johnson, who had one son, James Johnson, who, according to Sam Benton, is now living in New Mexico as somebody in the Air Force. He mentioned something about him being a test pilot. So that's a connection between somebody you've actually spoken with. You talked to Sam Benton, the local expert on the lights in the sky, and his childhood buddy Jim is the son of Eloise Schroyer, who is the niece of Halcyon Schroyer, who wrote one of the letters. That's pretty remote connection, but it's what you got to work with. So,
who married James Johnson?
You don't have a record on that.
Probably got married
Although Sam Benton did mention that he disapproved of the girl that Jim shacked up with and joined the Air Force with, sort of.
Oh, okay. So he didn't say they got married.
No, he used the phrase shacked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just got a text from Donald. Boat just got to the slip. Long story.
I'm sure he'll share it with us next week.
At length.
I'm sure. So. Cross-referencing your leads, you've got a James Johnson who is apparently in the Air Force somewhere in New Mexico. Who's a childhood buddy of Sam Benton. So there's that connection somewhere. And you've got a Kermit Lawyer, who's the uncle of Jenna Lawyer and the brother of David Lawyer, who is apparently in Philadelphia running Fort Dodge Labs. Whatever that is.
Find out what Fort Dodge Labs is.
Well, thank goodness you've got the internet. So.
I do. The internet is my friend.
Fort Dodge Labs. What we got? Got something for you there. Pretty sure. Of course, it seems extremely... Oh, it's a pharmaceutical company. They do research and development on new drugs for other larger pharmaceutical companies. Like, I'm drawing a blank on all of them. But
Wyeth.
they're basically...
Wyeth.
Yeah, and Pfizer. That's another one. So you have these mega corporations that own, like... There's like
Johnson.
3 of them, and together they own like 90% of the pharmaceutical market. Anyway,
Yep.
Fort Dodge Labs is like a little independent research company that investigates new drugs, and then if they stumble on something, they license them or what's the word for it? License them to these larger mega corporations who then pay them like a tiny percentage. But that tiny percentage winds up being millions and millions and millions of dollars, maybe even billions. So.
Okay. Get on the dark web, see if I can find out anything about any of these people and Fort Dodge Labs. That might...
Make a conspiracy theory roll, because this is total conspiracy theory stuff.
And a conspiracy theory roll of 11.
I think, let me double check. I think you need 10. Where'd I put where'd my rules go? I had rules. Without rules, there's chaos. Oh, there we go. I accidentally hit home. All right. Valuable clue to a problem. 10. And you got an 11. Yeah. According to the conspiracy theorists, Fort Dodge Labs is one of a handful of human and this particular flavor of conspiracy theory is all like alien manipulation of Earth kind of stuff. So it's all from that point of view. So Fort Dodge Labs is one of a handful of human research labs which are reverse engineering alien technology in order to manipulate the human genome to turn us into slaves of aliens.
Philoid fish people.
And let's see, it would make sense if there were connections to other things because that's how conspiracy theories work. So, yes. So there are ties between Fort Dodge Labs and, oh, wrong screen. According to the conspiracy theorists, there are ties between, Fort Dodge Labs and the Institute for Molecular Manufacturing in San Francisco and Dulce Base, D-U-L-C-E. Which, without even rolling, I'll tell you, Dulce Base is an alleged joint human-alien underground facility under Archuleta Mesa on the Colorado-New Mexico border near the town of Dulce, New Mexico in the United States.
And Archuleta Mesa was one of the phrases on that last peculiar thing.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Isn't that fun?
All right, so we got San Francisco, Archuleta Mesa, and Philadelphia all showing up.
All three were on that list.
Yep. Apparently we missed Egypt somewhere.
Yeah.
It's pretty far away.
It is. It's full of Egyptians.
So here.
I'm pretty sure most of them don't speak English.
All right.
That's weird. Unless they're saying go to these places, but that's a bit much.
So I'm picturing you guys just sitting in a motel room, like stuff spread out and going like, huh.
The TV has been unplugged, uncabled, and turned to face the wall, and there's a towel draped over it. If there was a mirror in the room, it's been completely covered. The windows have had a completely new set of curtains thrown over them, so that they're covered too, and every light is on.
So
it's her room.
So your paranoia is at like a high ebb? Is that what I'm getting from this?
A little bit, yes.
Make a roll on your conspiracy theory paranoia kind of thing. Whatever you think would give you the best roll for something paranoia based. Because
13.
Okay, it occurs to you to look outside your room. And you look around and there's a door and there's like an overhang, which is the walkway of the rooms on the floor above yours.
Right.
And your door opens onto the parking lot, basically. Right? So there are posts periodically that hold up the walkway above you.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're looking around, you see essentially, I don't have a mirror. Essentially you see like a little webcam.
I was like a shiny black golf ball.
Except it's white duct tape holding it because the posts are white. And it's white duct tape. And the webcam itself has been, other than the little lens, has been spray painted white. So it kind of blends in.
They sell white ones.
I'm sorry, what?
They sell white ones.
Do they?
Yeah.
All the ones I've seen have been black.
I've even seen like kid ones where they're pink.
Great. Well, however it got that way, it's white. And it's white duct tape on a post up near where the post hits the ceiling, essentially, from where you are. And it's aimed not at your door, but like down the walkway where you walk if you would walk to your left.
Okay. All right. My paranoia just went from like DEFCON 1 down to like DEFCON 3 at that point. So it's not aimed at her.
Is that good or bad?
Well, depends on how you look at it. I'm not as paranoid as I was.
Hmm.
If it had been aimed at my room, I'd have been really paranoid.
It's not aimed directly at your room. It's aimed like at the walkway in front of your door and the door next to that and the door next to that and the door next to that.
Right. Well, yeah, before we start talking, pull out the MP3 player and turn on some really weird, like music. It's clearly music, but it's weird and it's like, you can't hear crap over it, but if you're far away.
Okay.
But we can talk. Because, yeah. Hey.
Oh, one thing I meant to mention, and I forgot this. You were talking about scions of these various families that are still alive.
Yes.
Okay. Ruth Warner wrote a letter. She married Frank Dempsey. They're both dead. They had a son, Bill Dempsey. As far as you know, he's still alive. He may still live around here. You don't know. Kermit Lawyer, the uncle of Jenna Lawyer, as far as you know, is still alive. Jenna Lawyer is still alive. You talked to her already.
Right.
Isn't
David Lawyer, who's the deceased father of Jenna Lawyer, he's dead. She has a kid who's age 11, Jeremy Lawyer. Halcyon Schroyer, who wrote a letter, she's dead. Aunt of Eloise Schroyer, she's still alive. She married Theodore Johnson. He's still alive. They have one son, James Johnson. He's still alive. But according to Sam, James left town. So the people who might still live in this area are Bill Dempsey, Jenna Lawyer, who you've met, her son, Jeremy, you haven't met, and Eloise Schroyer and Theodore Johnson, who are the parents of James Johnson. They're still alive and may still live here. So those are various people you could follow up on if you felt like it.
Currently, I'll do that just online and see if I can get like a local address for people with that name.
Yeah.
Or those names.
Easily done. You don't know whether they're actually living here, but you find the addresses for them. You find Bill Dempsey, Eloise, and Theodore, who have the same address. James doesn't live around here. And, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. So, Bill Dempsey and Eloise, well, she's Johnson now. She changed her name, she got married. But Eloise and Theodore Johnson, local. And Bill Dempsey, local.
These people have any kind of an internet footprint?
That's a good question.
Names in the news, Facebook pages, anything like that?
Oddly enough, no, none of them. Well, there's only 3 of them. But
right.
Bill Dempsey, no. And Eloise and Theodore Johnson, no. You find like a couple of public Facebook posts from Eloise and Theodore, like they went to Lake Anna, and here's a picture of them with a boat. It's all very mundane stuff that you find.
Okay.
Bill Dempsey, you find nothing. Oh, actually, if you want to do like in-depth research, or is this just casual social media kind of stuff?
Once I get past the casual social media kind of stuff and I don't find any skeletons in the closet, I'm going to keep digging. There has to be some reason why we're here, and it's not the 3 things that we were sent here for.
Okay, let me see. 14. You're not going to roll that. Well, give it a try. See if you can get a 14 with your like crazy conspiracy theory, Agent of Chaos stuff.
All right. Well, if I can use the Agent of Chaos roll, then I got a much better chance. And I rolled 16.
Good God, man!
Rolled an 11 on the dice and 5 for the Agent of Chaos.
you leverage some of your dark web contacts and look up things like Social Security records and IRS records, like way deep, personal,
Military records,
invasive kind of stuff. And you actually find some stuff that I wasn't expecting you to find. Eloise and Theodore Johnson, who are the parents of Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson currently at White Sands as a test pilot.
Okay.
His father, Theodore Ted Johnson, is also in the Air Force and was reported missing about 2 weeks ago. He went out for a walk, never came back. His wife Eloise reported him missing. There's been no sign of him since then. Just vanished. Bill Dempsey has a PhD in like 4 different things: robotics, microbiology applications, and some other weird sciencey sort of thing. And the last job he had was for a small consulting company in... Hang on, I gotta find it. New Mexico. So there's that.
All right. Huh.
Yeah, that's what you get.
That's
Any questions? Was that clear?
kind of want to go walking where he disappeared.
Well, they live in. Where do they live?
Who?
Missing Colonel
Here.
Johnson.
Scottsville.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Where's their local where's their address? You were able to get there, right?
It's about 5 minutes from here.
Okay.
Lumpkins.
Well, do a pass by there.
Yes.
Oh, Jim Johnson actually lives in Las Vegas.
Huh.
He lives in Vegas and he works in White Sands, which is...
Okay.
That's Nevada, right?
New Mexico.
Yeah. Let's say that's a bit of a drive.
Let's see.
He's a White Sands.
No. I'm sorry. Not White Sands. Nellis Air Force Base,
Oh,
which
Nellis.
is about 8 miles northeast of Las Vegas. That's where
that
Jim
makes
Johnson is. He's near Las Vegas. So, my mistake.
Okay.
And hang on a second. I just want to make sure I tell you all the right stuff. I told you San Francisco, Egypt, Archuleta Mesa, which is New Mexico.
Haven't mentioned Egypt.
Oh, it was in the signal.
Yes, it was, but we haven't attached any significance to it.
No. So the signal said San Francisco, Egypt, Archuleta Mesa, and Philadelphia.
Yep.
In the real world, you've had links to Philadelphia and Nellis Air Force Base just north of Las Vegas.
We also had connections to San Francisco and Archuleta Mesa.
Do you? In the real world? Or just noise? Signal?
No, there was something like a consulting firm or something in San Francisco, and you mentioned Archuleta Mesa.
Yes. Bill Dempsey worked for a consulting firm in San Francisco.
Yes.
According to the records you pulled up. We did at one point. It was several years ago. He's kind of dropped off the map since then.
Yeah, I forget what the connection with Archuleta Mesa was.
That, as far as I know, has only been mentioned in the signal.
No, it's Dulce Base.
Yes. Which is a real thing. Maybe. But in any event, the only way that you've learned about that has been in the signal. The vision kind of thing.
No, it was when I was looking for stuff on the darknet on the conspiracy theory. Somebody mentioned Archuleta Mesa, and it was connected to Dulce Base, which is a combined human-alien hybrid
Oh,
underground base.
yes, Philadelphia. Okay, there is a connection, but it's like 2 steps. Fort, what the hell? Fort Dodge, Fort Dodge Labs, which
Yes.
is where Kermit Lawyer left to go be in charge of. According to the conspiracy theorists, Fort Dodge Labs is like a front for Archuleta Base, which is at Dulce Mesa,
Right.
or Archuleta Mesa, which is Dulce.
Base.
Yeah, whatever.
How do you keep track of all this, man?
I've got it written down, and even I'm having trouble. So somewhere, what you need is like a lot of post-it notes and string
Yes.
going all over the room. Anyway, so there's a wireless webcam duct tape outside your room, more or less, and yeah. Now what?
See if I can figure out where the wireless webcam is transmitting to.
All right. Make a. Let me see. That's not you. That's you. Slacker network. Okay, yeah. 2 to 6 plus 3. Tell me what you get.
10.
Wow. This is fairly easy, so you get it anyway. I mean, you would have gotten it with an 8, but with a 10, I'm giving you extra stuff.
Okay.
As you're untaping this, and you're like, okay, so this goes around the corner and is like wired into the like security lights at the motel for power. But for internet, it's got a little antenna. And it's all white. Either it came that way or it's spray painted. And you're thinking like, well, this is like a weird place to put this? Because it's not aimed at your door. And
Right.
Mark Savage's door, in particular, is the other way. So it's not like they're targeting you 3.
Right.
And as you're looking around, and you look like across the street, and you're like, huh. And you like get off the stepladder, which you borrowed from the maintenance closet, and you walk across the street, and over there's another little wireless webcam aimed down the sidewalk. And you walk down the sidewalk a bit, and you look at an alleyway at like one of those big sodium lamps that are like this big, and they're kind of yellow and they buzz.
Yes.
Okay, and you look up that, and you're like, there's, hang on, and you take your step ladder and you aim it up against the wall, and you climb up past the sodium light, and above the sodium light, taped to the little bar that it's hanging from, is another little wireless webcam, which has a little couple of wires hooked into the power panel, the little power box, powering the sodium light. So as you roam around for the next half hour or so in Scottsville, you find like a dozen little wireless webcams all over the place. And they're not high tech. They're not like concealed all that well. They're the sort of thing that you wouldn't notice unless you were actually looking for them. But once you look for them, they're obvious.
Right.
They're everywhere.
So it's like one cam is pointing at another cam, which is pointing at another cam, which is pointing at another cam?
More or less, yeah.
Trail.
Like somebody has blanketed downtown Scottsville with little wireless webcams. So you're going to roll to see if you could tell where they were communicating to.
Yes.
And did you make that roll, or are you going to do that now? 2 to 6 plus 3.
12. 9.
Wow. All right. Each camera is hooked into whatever the most vulnerable wireless hotspot is nearby.
Right.
Because they're all, well, they're not all different, but most of them are different. And they're using those and then uploading to a anonymous torrent the video that they're capturing. So anybody who had that anonymous torrent ID can download the video.
of
Streets.
a relatively small Virginia town that nothing
Yes.
important happens in.
This is exactly true.
Somebody's got fireworks.
Okay, I got not fuck with them at this point. So go to like a dollar store and buy like a dozen little some sort of like ridiculously cute figurine, like a little plastic toy, and go to each one of the webcams and tape the figurine directly in front of the webcam. I know this has got nothing to do with what's going on, and like it's basically just waving a huge flag in front of the person that's doing it. But I just can't help myself. This is going to be done. So
Absolutely.
That is really funny.
I mean, we're not talking about the Illuminati here. I mean, these things are the sort of thing that even I wouldn't bother to put up because they're kind of low tech, and the method by which they're using to utilize the things is also kind of low tech. So yeah, we're not dealing with a criminal mastermind here. We're dealing with somebody who's working out of the garage, I suspect.
So the bag of the dollar bag of from the Dollar Tree, you can get for $1 get a bag of little soldiers.
Hang on.
Exactly,
There you go.
yeah.
I've got the thing. Hey, check this. So it's like Chinese knockoff Harry Potter.
Exactly. Like that. But the exact same one, and just tape it in front of each one of the cameras. So that when they look at the image, it's right in front.
Okay. All right. Well, that kills your morning.
And while I'm doing this, I'll try and figure out if there's any new lead that we can follow that doesn't involve like going to, say, Philadelphia or Archuleta Mesa or I don't know. San Francisco is kind of a thin one.
That's a bit far, anyways. We were going to do a drive-by of the.
Oh yes, of the Johnson residence too.
Yes.
I mean, you know, if there's an alien spaceship landed on their front lawn, then we know where our next step is. But
Oh, Eloise Johnson. Well, you could drive by her house. It's not too far. Let's
yes,
see. What do we have for Eloise Johnson? Oh, on the way there, actually, because the Johnson house is at the edge of town, and the Dempsey house is a few blocks from the main highway on Elm Street.
okay,
So I may as well give you that too while you're doing this sort of stuff. The Dempsey house, it looks like it's been abandoned. The grass is hugely overgrown. The flower garden's gone to seed. It's a one-story house. Paint's peeling. Looks like if anybody did live there, it's not been recent.
middle class to start with, or
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's not a shack like the Benton's place. It's a decent one-story house. It's just that apparently nobody's lived here for at least a year, maybe two,
Okay.
and it's nobody's taking care of it. Nobody's mowing the lawn. Nobody's doing any of that stuff. So that's the Dempsey's.
If it seems like it wouldn't be difficult to break in
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then do a quick search.
Yeah, search for the key, search for the spare key underneath the door, the desiccated, the degraded doormat in the back behind the back door.
Exactly, on the patio.
Yeah, well, you don't find a spare key, but it's not hard to break in. You pick the lock, you walk around, you look around. It has that kind of like vaguely musty smell, like the air conditioning hasn't been run in years.
And the carpet's starting to mildew, yeah.
Carpet's starting to mildew around the windows and stuff. Yeah, it's
It's an abandoned house.
It's an abandoned house.
But no rotting corpses in the bedrooms or
No,
anything
no
like
rotting corpses, no alien autopsies, no nothing like that.
that. Is it still furnished or is it empty?
I'm gonna guess. Hang on, where'd my pointer go? I'm gonna roll some dice.
Okay.
It is furnished.
Huh.
But There's like sheets of plastic hanging over the couch and the table and there's a
Okay, so
TV. There's a TV, but it's like the kind that has a tube. It's like
weighs
huge.
400 pounds.
Takes 2 men and a small boy to pick it up.
Yes.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so
but they all have like plastic draped over it.
okay, so the place was abandoned, but it was intentionally abandoned. It's not like somebody just walked off one day and never came home.
Right.
Their plan was clearly to come back, that otherwise they wouldn't plastic wrap everything.
Oh, since you're looking around, there's a stack of mail by the door that is dated from 1991.
Okay.
And that's the only thing you see in the house that has a date on it. So it's been quite a while.
When was
Man,
the date?
That is a long time. Wow.
Yeah, it's almost 30 years, man.
Jesus Christ.
When was the date on the missing person?
Oh, Ted Johnson. 2 weeks
Johnson.
ago.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago.
2 weeks
So
ago.
they went from being gone 2 weeks. He's been gone for 2 weeks to them moving out of here 30
No,
years
this
ago?
is the Dempsey house. This is
Yeah,
not
this is
the
the Dempsey.
Johnson house. This is closer. This is like right in town, like and around a corner from Main Street.
Yeah,
It's
this is-
literally you could walk there from the motel in like 5 minutes.
All right, so Ruth Werner married Frank Dempsey, but that was in the 30s. They had a son named Bill Dempsey.
30s
this
is
is
the
house.
timing is all wrong. It would have been the 70s.
Oh, sorry, the 70s.
Yeah.
So 70s. They're
Yeah,
both but there's a good chance the son is still alive. He just hasn't lived here in forever.
The last information you have on him is San Francisco, but
That's-
that was about 4 years ago.
All right. So
And if he thought he couldn't sell the house, then he would have just left it like this.
Given
All right.
your computer savviness, you can actually look and find that the house is still listed in the MLS. It is for sale right now. Has been.
is it?
Aha!
It has been since 1991.
not a whole lot of bites then.
Apparently not.
All right, moving on to the Johnson household.
The Johnsons. That has a human being living there. Let's see. This is a much nicer place. It's a Victorian. It's 2 stories. It's got like this one of those tower things on one corner that goes up to a 3rd story and has like a cupola kind of a thing. And it's got like a big wraparound porch. It's really nice. It's painted in bright white, and the shutters are bright pink. There's a white picket fence and a nice flower garden with flowers blooming. And it looks just really pretty.
All right, so this is where the wife and the missing husband, former colonel, he's not active duty anymore, right?
Well, if you look him up, you can find out that, yeah, he was. Or is. He's missing, obviously, but... Hang on, let me double duplicate. This is what you find when you Google Colonel Theodore Johnson. There you go. That's the picture.
Right.
Colonel Theodore Johnson. And since you're in the neighborhood, here is Jim Johnson. Jim?
He's working
Ted.
his way through his
Jim?
his little
Ted.
markers.
Actually, I did not intentionally pick 2 guys that looked alike, but these guys actually look related.
Huh?
I think that's pretty funny.
Okay, so how old is the elder Johnson if he's still in the military?
He's close to retirement age. He's like 64, something like that.
And
In fact, they would have retired him years ago, except he's a test pilot and he's really good at it. And so he's got like exemptions to not be retired out.
Oh, he's the test pilot also.
Oh, wait, damn it, no, he's not. Hang on.
No, he's a colonel. He's political now.
Jim Johnson is the test pilot. Hang on a second.
Okay.
I said that wrong. I'm sorry.
He would have to be at least a colonel, anyways, to still be in a military at this point at his age, because they usually retire you out if you are lower ranking than that.
Yeah, military is weird. It's like promote or leave.
Mm-hmm. So basically, he's in some pseudo political office, or he's at some boring job that basically they put you out to pasture.
He may have a senior command too, or be command of an air wing or something like that, or a base or something. But even so, I mean, it's rare that they put more than 30 years in.
Oh, I know. Yep.
Where did I put it? Well, maybe I don't have it. All right, let's just say.
But still, 30 years, that would put him in his late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, wait, there's a thing.
A thing, you say?
That would be the right age to have a son who's,
No, there's a. When you try to find out what his job actually is,
Yes.
You don't find anything, which is odd because usually you can find lists of at least where they're assigned, right?
Yeah.
The closest you can come to is a reference to a thing called Peters Mountain, which is about an hour from Scottsville, and the conspiracy theorists say that that's where the bunker is, where the high-level government officials will go when shit hits the fan.
Oh, it's like the Greenbrier.
Like that. A mysterious facility.
Where is that?
Roughly 16 miles east of Charlottesville.
Where is that? Just out of curiosity, where is that a location in relationship to the place we stood around for a couple hours at night? It was it wouldn't happen to be if the guy was pointing in that direction, it would.
No, it's miles away from there. Yeah.
Do a Google Maps search and see if I can find out what it looks like.
Hang on, maybe I can do that.
And while I'm at it, look up.
Peters Mountain's a real place, by the way. Oh, wow! Here we go.
It's buzzed out.
Not as much as you might think. Here we go. This is a Google Earth video. Peters Mountain.
There we go.
Atlanta, Virginia.
You're that. All right, parking lot, building. Damn it.
So, according to, it doesn't outright say it when you look him up, but the only reference you can find about him implies that this is where he's actually stationed. But he was home in Scottsville, took a walk, and disappeared 2 weeks ago, and has not been heard from since. And if you want additional fun conspiracy theory stuff, it is listed according to the Geographical Informational Survey, which is what keeps track of all land everywhere in the United States, is listed as vacant residential land of no value. It's not even listed.
That's not suspicious at all, is it?
It's not even listed as a military installation at all. So, isn't that fun?
Interesting.
But I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. It's all perfectly reasonable. Okay, so you've got no idea what's going on, and
Nope,
at this
none
point you're
whatsoever.
just kind of running around. Where you are now, you're in front of this lovely Victorian house that has beautiful flower beds and a white picket fence and pink shutters, and it's just a gorgeous house. So what you gonna do?
Hmm.
The mailbox says Johnson and numbers.
Sure.
Cars in the driveway.
Let's see, does it have a garage?
If it does, it's around the back. 'Cause it wouldn't be the
We're gonna
Victorian.
say that yes, it has a car in the driveway. It has a what would be like a nice older American lady type car? Acura. It has a white Acura sedan in the driveway.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing really out of the ordinary about the place. It's completely and utterly ordinary, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a very, very pretty version of ordinary, but yeah, sure. It's probably the nicest house you've seen so far at Scottsville.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Is there a webcam watching it?
No, you don't see any webcams taped to trees or squirrels or anything.
All right.
I think I'm down to my last witch point. Yeah.
Really? You only used one?
Today.
Oh, when you dozed off in front of the washing machine, get two back
Okay.
from that.
Cool. Okay. Could try divination and see if I could if I could douse where the guy went.
I don't know you can do that, so by all means.
Yes. You take a pendulum and which I happen to wear as a necklace. I have one right here actually. Yes. Use a pendulum for dowsing. Shall I give that a whirl?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. That would be 2 dice plus 4. 14.
That is a great, great roll. So, you want to know where Ted Johnson is? Colonel Johnson?
Mhm.
West.
West.
West. And you get the impression it is many, many, many days travel west from here.
Ah.
Actually,
Yeah.
14. That's a great roll. Let me see. What do I got
Like
for you?
either Virginia West or San Francisco West.
That's a good question.
Many days.
Hang on.
I'm leaning less west. Less within the next couple of states from here. More. Yeah.
There we go.
Or in
14. Valuable clue to a complex mystery. We're talking like get on an airplane and go for several hours west.
So
We're
like
talking
San Francisco.
drive for 2 days west. We're talking that far west. We're talking desert. You get a definite desert vibe.
Desert.
Not a coast vibe, a desert vibe. They're different.
You may very well be at Nellis or Archuleta Mesa or White Sands or any number of places out there.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. I mean, the Air Force has got all kinds of bases out there.
Yep. And they must have needed him in a hurry to snag him while he was out on a walk.
Ooh. Actually, I might have some info for you on Colonel Theodore Johnson. Let me see what I got. It may not be anything interesting. I kind of doubt it. Let's see. EFGHI would be before this. Because it was G. H, G. Ugh.
What are you doing, my fan?
Yeah, FBI records on James Johnson and Theodore Johnson. You can pull those up. Lloyd,
Oh, okay.
your guy could have easily pulled this stuff up. You can get that James Johnson has been an instructor at the Air Force Academy for 6 years, posted to Nellis Air Force Base to assist with the flight school there. Recently turned down for promotion when routine psychological testing showed he was demonstrating paranoid tendencies. So, Colonel Theodore Maxwell Johnson. Let's see. Test. Also a test pilot. I was right. I thought he was. So, for advanced prototypes for the past 30 years. And anybody who knows anything about test pilots knows they don't last that long.
No.
They either die or they get promoted.
Yeah.
So
they end up in charge of test pilot programs.
Hence him being a colonel.
Yeah. So he is a colonel, and he's actually been a test pilot for advanced prototype for 30 years. He tests things that they can't trust normal test pilots to test. Let's see. And all the information you have on him is at least 5 years old. You can't find anything on him newer than that. And hey, why don't you make some kind of, let's see, what would that be? John Morgan. Conspiracy theory, Agent of Chaos. I'll tell you what, you can use Agent of Chaos, but if you do that, you need to spend a weird pool point for it.
I will do so.
Okay, 2d6 plus 5 then.
9. Sorry, crap roll.
You've been rolling so bad.
It's one or the other. There's nothing average going on here.
But you spent a weird pool point, so I'm going to give it to you. Most of his ordinary, routine FBI DS defense, DIS? Anyway, all the normal stuff is at least 5 years old. Like 5 years ago, he basically, it's not like he dies. They just stop making records on him.
Stopped, yeah.
Yeah, the paper trail stops. But you, using your Agent of Chaos stuff, dark web, backdoors kind of stuff, you find a reference to him by his SSN in some obscure report to some obscure Senate subcommittee that says that Colonel Theodore Maxwell Johnson was missing in action on a classified mission 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
There you go.
Like we may end up having to make a trip to the desert at some point.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if there are any other answers that we can get here.
Yeah, don't want to leave here until we're ready to leave here.
You are still outside the very lovely Victorian home of Eloise Johnson.
Yeah, I just don't want to go and interview her because, let's face it, neither one of us is a very good interviewer.
No. And besides, I probably would have moved off to the side, not doused right in front of the grieving widow. Grieving person, the missing person.
Widow! Whoa! Nobody said he was dead. He's missing.
That's true. Missing person. That's true. He's not hanging out around here.
Actually, if you just parked in front of her house for a while, she'd eventually bring you cookies.
Yeah, let's bring cookies out to the people hanging out on the motorcycle. One of whom's dressed in black leather jacket and all that fun stuff.
All right, I can try something here. I don't know. I'm not particularly good at it, but oh well. What's the worst that'll happen? Approach the house.
Okay. There's no dogs or alarms or anything.
Okay, just knock on the door.
Eventually, a lady answers the door. I unfortunately don't have a good picture for her. Hang on. Oh,
Okay, you can
wow.
describe her if you want.
Middle-aged lady, short hair. Oh, actually, I know exactly who she looks like.
Uh-oh.
Wait. I've got exactly who she looks like. Give me just a moment. I can find her. Yeah. I know I am friend of that guy. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, here we go. She looks like this. She's cheerful. She seems happy. She's got short hair, gray hair. She's not dressed exactly like this, but close enough.
Okay.
She answers the door. She says, "Hello, can I help you?"
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. I'll hand her a business card and tell her my name is Alonzo Mosley and I'm a private detective.
She looks at your business card. She frowns a little bit. She's like, "Okay."
I know this is probably a bad time, but I just had a couple of questions I wanted to ask concerning your husband.
And like the shutters come down behind her
Okay.
eyes, and she's like, "Oh, I don't think I can help you. Why would you be looking into my husband?"
Well, I've been hired by a confidential source, and the source in question has asked me to do a follow-up concerning your husband's whereabouts approximately 2 weeks ago.
She looks at you skeptically. Well, I suppose I should invite you in. Come in.
Well, that's completely up to you, man, but I appreciate it.
So we're Charlotte.
Sure. I'll follow behind.
Oh, okay. I was asking where you were, but
Oh,
you're
I'm gonna
behind
have
him.
the
That's fine too.
I was gonna set the motorcycle. Look like because, yeah.
Where do you want to be?
I'll stay at the motorcycle because Gotham Leather doesn't really, invite little old ladies to talk to them.
Okay. Uh, well, you see him, this guy who I think. What did you tell her your name was?
Alonzo Mosley.
No, wait, not her. Hello, you told the lady at the door you're Alonzo Mosley. You told
Yes.
her you're something Simpson.
Dwayne Simpson, yes.
Name.
Okay. So this guy, Dwayne Simpson.
I've only got 4 sets of fake business cards right now, and that's 2 of them, so.
You gotta rotate them, I guess. Okay, so
Well, the other
Charlotte
2 didn't
sees
make sense.
Dwayne go up to the door, knock on the door. They chat for a minute. She invites him inside, and the door closes. That's what Charlotte sees. Alonzo Mosley, she gestures to sit down on the couch. It's a bright, airy room with like dried flowers and floral print couch and stuff like that. The TV is a big flat screen TV. It's modern.
Yep.
And
Landline phone?
we're gonna say yes. There's
Okay.
a landline phone on a little table over in the corner. So she's like, "Would you like some lemonade?"
If it's not too much trouble, thank you.
She
Afraid the
leaves the
weather,
room.
Considerably good. Bug the phone.
She putters around the kitchen for like a few minutes. It's not a crazy long time. She essentially gets a tray and some stuff in the fridge and a couple of glasses.
Okay.
She brings it back out. And she sits on the coffee table. And she goes, help yourself. All right, so you're asking questions about Theodore.
Uh, essentially the person that hired me is trying to find out if his whereabouts have been determined within the past 2 weeks.
No. No. They tell me he was working on a classified mission when he disappeared, and they're searching for him.
Okay, and no other details have become available?
No.
Can you tell me who it was that provided the information to you?
The Air Force.
Anyone in particular, or just a public information officer? Or...
His superior, General, and she'll name a name.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Well, like I said, I do apologize for intruding upon you in this particular time. But I appreciate the information, and it certainly provides me with information that I need. So thank you very much.
Is that all you wanted?
That's it, ma'am. Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, she stands up, and well, I'm happy to have been of help.
Thank you.
And she escorts you out, and then closes the door.
See if she makes any phone calls.
No.
All right, so she's not in on it.
She actually sits down and turns on the TV and starts watching, like, Game of Thrones or something.
How bloodthirsty. Okay. All right, so she doesn't, or when I get back to the motorcycle, okay, she doesn't know where he is either.
Yeah, it would be smart to keep the wife out of the loop.
Yeah, the Air Force has just been blowing smoke at her, and it doesn't sound like she's calling anybody to let her know that some stranger has come asking very pointed questions about her husband. So I sincerely doubt she's in on it.
Yeah. Oh. Don't know what else to do with that lead.
All right. Well, it only cost me one business card and a plug, so. Set my phone up so that in the event she does call somebody, that it'll just record the call to my phone and let me know.
Okay. Easy to do.
All right, from here, I think we're pretty much exhausting all of our possibilities. Again, we've got to wonder, though, I mean, what are we chasing here right now? I mean, all three of us were sent here one way or another, looking for...
3 different issues.
Three different red herring issues.
Yeah.
And now, what's his name, Savage, has disappeared. And all we're finding around here is some sort of military cover-up.
Yeah. And some sort of regular, like the other two, these 2 of the leads are total, nonsense. And I doubt, unless we wanted to sit here for months, that we're going to see those lights. And I don't intend to stay that long.
And other than that, we've got some kind of weird extrasensory stuff going on.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you all the time, by the way?
Say it again, sorry.
It's kind of a first for me.
Sorry, say that.
The extrasensory stuff, the weird dreams and the blackouts that result in very strange stream of consciousness poetry.
That's new to me. Normally, if I'm going to be doing that, I usually have to set it up. But, yeah.
Normally, it involves drugs for me. Yeah.
Mushrooms. Yeah.
Meditation, but yeah.
All right. Well, there's something around here causing that.
Yeah. It seems like something around here. I'm wondering if something around here is just causing a bunch of random, what would look like red herrings, even. But still. Don't know. Don't know where to look next.
Brandon, sneak up on one of those webcams.
Okay.
Disable it. Take it with me. Take it back to the hotel. Take it apart. Is it really, honestly, just a webcam?
It is really, honestly, just a webcam you can get from Amazon or Newegg. It's a nice webcam. It's like $90.
I was going to say $40 webcam, but
it's a completely off-the-shelf $90 webcam connected to a little $35-$40 little wireless access point deal.
All right.
Although someone physically duct taped them to wherever they were and wired them into whatever local power source there was and set them up to connect to a local wireless access point. That was all done apparently very manually. This is not particularly sophisticated stuff.
No. Check the torrent. How long has it been have they been recording?
Oh.
Days, months, years?
A week.
Hmm.
All right, so we've been,
Let's say 8 days, because a week is so tiny.
all right, so
8
we've been
days.
2 days.
Like the earliest one is 8 days, and the most recent one is 5 days. So whoever it was took 3 days to set all these
Set
things
up.
up.
18 webcams. All right.
No, it's more like 35.
Oh, okay.
They're
So
everywhere in downtown Scottsville.
why?
Yeah.
What the hell? There's nothing interesting about this place.
Hmm.
Do a Google
Except
do
you.
a Google do a Google map search of this town and find out if there's anything weird that has happened over the course of time.
Everything weird that has ever happened in Scottsville, you know about.
I don't know.
Just to be clear, the cameras, it took about 3 days to set them all up,
Right.
and they were all set up several days before you got here.
Right. And several days after, this chucklehead disappeared.
This is true. He was gone before the cameras got set up.
Right.
The father of Jim Johnson.
And there's no way to pinpoint where who's looking at this stuff. At these
It's
images.
It's designed to be anonymous. It's
Mm.
forwarding video to store it somewhere on an anonymous torrent so somebody else could log in. Anybody else could log in and download it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to watch all the video, I can show it to you.
Oh, that's
I can
quite
actually-
all right. I'm sure it's very exciting.
It's not.
That's fine.
Just in case you're curious what these people look like.
Yeah.
I went to the trouble of finding the photos, so you may as well look at them. I tickle myself. Okay, so you guys need fun stuff to do. So do something fun.
Oh, by the way, that picture of Colonel Theodore Ted Johnson,
Mhm.
he's a 3-star general in that picture.
Yes, he is.
And a Vietnam vet.
Uh,
I like it because he actually looks like he could be the father of the guy on the left.
Agreed. There is a certain resemblance.
yeah, there's very much a resemblance there.
Yeah, I thought so too. So just pretend he's a
Brandon.
colonel.
Head back to the hotel, go over everything we've got, and mull it over.
Yeah.
Wait for developments to develop. Wait a minute, we've got the webcam footage, right? I can access it via the torrent.
You can.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Can I access it and find out what happened to Savage?
Oh, you absolutely can. You have to go back like a day at this point, I think.
Yes.
But
That's what's more out.
yeah, car pulls up and it's very choppy. It's webcam stuff. Car pulls up. He gets out. He takes like a full minute getting out of the car. What the hell is he doing? You don't know. He eventually Susan takes like a full minute to get out of the car, and it drives
That's
me
the
nuts.
exact same thing. She'll leave to go to work. I'll leave like 5 minutes later, and I'll walk into the parking lot, and she's still in her car doing things.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you're not taking off an F-35. I mean, how hard it is to fire up.
You turn it off and get out. It's like, what is there? I don't know. Anyway, so he sits in the car for like a minute doing something, and then he gets out of the car and he closes the door and he locks it. And he starts walking toward his room at the Lumpkins Motel and Restaurant, and then he like stops and he like looks around, and then he's gone. Like from one frame to the next, he's
Right.
standing there looking around, and then the next frame he's not staying there. But in the previous frames, he seems to notice something is amiss, because he like stops and he like looks around, and then he's gone. You can replay that like over and over again. That's exactly what happens. And
You
the
wanna do-
timestamp and everything doesn't skip. It's like, 003, 004, 005, he's there. 006, he's not there.
He's not there. Okay. So over the course of like a second, he vanishes. Well, you did a check to see if you could find the Colonel. Can you do a check to see if you can find this guy?
Sure. Pull up the pendulum. And I can like ask it questions like, "Is he still alive?" Because it'll do yes no.
So here's the deal. You
Mhm.
have a limited number of weird pool to spend
Yeah,
on
I'm down
this.
to like one or two.
Well, I gave you back half when
Yes, you
you
did.
dozed off at
There's
the...
only two left. Yeah,
So that gives you how many now?
2.
Pardon me.
Mm-hmm. Unless I said to spend 2 when we were in the cave.
One in the cave to teleport.
Yes, okay.
I gave you teleporting back for free. So you have 2 now? Is that what we were saying?
Yes.
Okay. So you're just going to spend 1. And what is your question? It has to be specific.
Yes. Where is whatever Donald's character's name is?
Mark Savage?
Yes, Markevich.
He gave you his real name. What do you got? You need
Woo.
12.
I rolled a 14.
Zowie. 12 would give you a straight answer to a simple question. And where he is, that's a simple question. 14 gives you a valuable clue to a complex mystery. So let's see how to phrase that. You're doing it with a pendulum,
Mhm.
so a lot of this is interpretive.
Yeah.
But the pendulum is pointing outside of space and time.
It's doing this weird wah thing or whatever. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just thinking of that.
Whatever it's doing, you interpret it as being outside of space and time.
Okay. He is not among us anymore. He's somewhere else.
Not dead, because that would be different.
Not dead.
That was
said
my
somewhere
first question. What, he's captain? What?
No, I'd feel this. No, I'd know if he was dead.
No. You would know. He is not dead.
He's just not.
His existence continues outside of the reality that you know.
Just out of curiosity, do you actually phrase it that way when you tell me that?
Oh, absolutely.
In which case, my first question would be, is that a relatively normal answer to that question? I mean, do you get that all the time, or is this kind of a new thing?
Usually when I ask that question, it usually gives me like,
Scottsdale, Arizona?
exactly. It gives me an address usually. This is.
I'm thinking if Charlotte's like most people, usually the answer you get is under the couch or
Yeah, exactly.
behind the bed. It's like, Where's my phone? It's like, I've lost my keys. Where are my keys?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
under the driver's seat of the car. Oh, Jesus, no wonder. Okay.
So outside of space and time is not what you would consider to be a normal answer then. That was kind of a unique one.
No, that's not a normal answer. That's a rather unusual answer. I don't normally get to spend much time with anybody who has that gives me that specific answer. No.
Okay. Can we go there? Or more importantly, can we bring him back from there?
I'd have to know exactly where he is, I'm pretty sure.
Bringing somebody from somewhere to you is not easy.
No, especially if we don't know where that is exactly.
One would assume you need X, Y, and Z coordinates, yeah.
You know, point A to point B is easy. Point A to unknown is, kind of pulling together more than one thing and hoping it doesn't blow up in your face.
All right, so you just met him here, day before yesterday, right? It's not like you two are some kind of a long-term, having a kind of a long-term partnership. Okay.
No, you met him the same day you met this guy, this Simpson guy.
Mostly.
I got the impression he drove quite a distance, longer than New York.
California. He has California license plates. Yes.
California license plates.
So I'm going to assume California.
Yeah, California. I'm sure. I bet you that's actually his car, considering he actually gave me his name.
Actually, since you spent time searching it earlier, John, not that they know your name is John, but still. You spent time searching it earlier. You found his registration and insurance card and all this stuff. And it all says Mark Savage. It's the same name he gave you. And it's got an address in Long Beach, California. Everything you find in the glove compartment is Long Beach, California. As a matter of fact, you find smog check reports going back like 3 years in Long Beach, California. So unless he's been meticulous at covering his tracks, and that's always possible. But normally this is the sort of thing that indicates that he's who he says he is.
Yeah, I mean, normally I don't even consider that when I'm thinking of other people, because that's the sort of thing that I do. I mean, having like half a dozen different identities, the sort of thing that I normally try and get away with, not other people. So it doesn't occur to me that that's in any way abnormal. It's like, okay, yeah, he's a guy from California. It makes perfect sense.
Oh, something that would come across as unusual. His address is not apartment number. It's birth number.
It's a marina, yeah.
all of his address stuff for his insurance and his smog check and his registration, all the stuff that's in his glove compartment is birth number 2417, Long Beach Marina, Long Beach, California. So
I heard in California that's not too uncommon. A lot of people live in boat houses.
Florida too. I've read John D. McDonald, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if he's out of the reach of space and time, then I don't see us going to get him unless you know how to get there.
No.
You could try.
I could try. I have 1 point left. I could, if I got there, or even if I didn't.
Then what do we do?
You're kind of stuck. Yeah. It's been a long day.
I'm going to go drink all the good scotch in this hotel. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of it.
I'm going to see if they have a decent bottle of wine.
Oh, actually, Central Virginia has a thriving wine area.
I know.
I know. You and I both know. But Yes, they have fabulous wines. So,
For
is
me,
that
like,
how you guys
that.
spend the rest of the evening? Is drinking wine and whatever else you can find?
Eating and drinking, yeah. No, I don't drink wine. I don't particularly like it. I'll drink scotch or expensive beer.
All right. Well, they have a selection to choose from. So you kill the evening, you get drunk, and we've got like 10 minutes. I'd really like you to do something fun and leave us on a cliffhanger. So can you
Okay.
think of something fun you can do in 10 minutes and leave us on a cliffhanger for next week? Hopefully Donald will make it, and then we can start off in a bang. Don't leave me hanging. Come on, you can do it.
I could try something magical, but
Oh,
don't really
rescuing
know.
Donald.
Just
Just
get drunk and post weird posters all over the city or all over the town.
Donald's not here to
Yeah.
play, so you can't go rescue him. But
Yeah.
something else, anything else. Go somewhere, do something. Steal Donald's car. Why not?
Go
Well, I
back
was
to
gonna do
that
that
place to
anyway
see
if
if.
I needed a car, but no, I don't.
Oh, it's night. Oh, sorry. It's nighttime again. It's a different night. Go back to that location without the dude.
Oh, and post all this information on the darknet too under my handle.
Okay. You do that. Yeah, there's no indication of lights in the sky. Actually, just throwing this out there, Charlotte, she could do a divination to find out when they would show up again.
Oh yeah, let's do that instead of going out in the dark. Hey, bottle of wine, pendulum. Okay, let's see if we can figure out when those lights are coming.
Does this work better when you've been drinking? Just out of curiosity.
No,
Because I know my stuff does.
maybe. Who knows? I don't do it. I'm usually don't have the reason to get drunk and do divination unless I guess I could do this for cash. go to those hippie places and be like, I will give you a fortune.
If you do divination, if you get 12,
Mhm.
I'll give you a point blank straight answer. If you get less than 12, I'll be KG.
I rolled a 9. First
Oh.
crappy roll all the way.
Not soon.
Not soon.
Not soon.
That's
Good
what
thing
you
we
get.
didn't drive out there then. Darn it.
All right, so
However, for what it's worth, that does imply that eventually they will be there. So
They
it's
will be,
not
yes.
simply made up. It's a real thing, but not soon.
Okay, we found one real thing. Lights in the sky. They're real. Just not soon.
Not soon.
okay. So this whole whatever you're doing thing isn't really big on straight answers. It's
No, actually it
What?
isn't.
more oracular than
Are you in one of your motel rooms while you're having this conversation, or are you at the?
Oh yeah,
at the restaurant?
I'm not saying any of this stuff out in the middle of a restaurant around normal people.
I don't know. I'm asking. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a knock at the door, but who hears it? Let me see. Charlotte hears it.
Okay.
John does not.
okay.
Okay, go to the door and look at the people.
Okay. Keep in mind, everything I'm describing to you, you only see and hear what Charlotte says.
Okay.
Someone
Or
at the
does.
door.
Okay. So Charlotte does what? Gets up,
Oh, gets up. I was like, oh, someone's at the door.
and you see
okay.
Hermes.
Hermes?
Hermes.
Hermes. Is that the guy we saw earlier?
Woman.
The scary white chick.
That's great.
She's
Okay.
pale and has lots, like voluminous, straw-like blonde hair. Hang on, I'll show you. It's Tilda
Her.
Swinton. Hang on.
The one you sent you on this wild goose chase.
Yes.
Yes. She's at the front
yes.
door. She's at the door of your room, and she's like, "Hello." She
Hello.
actually waits for you to make eye contact with her,
Ah.
and then she says, "Hello."
Hello. Would you like to come in?
Oh, I'd like that very much. Thank you. And she steps
All right.
aside.
Can he see you?
No.
Ah, okay.
So I
We're
take it
gonna.
she's talking to nobody, Brandon.
She is talking to nobody.
I do apologize. I have a guest who you cannot see.
Go nuts.
Oh, I can see
That
him just
does
fine.
happen frequently for me.
Oh, you mean him. Never mind.
I'm
sorry.
talking to him. Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Dwayne. I do have a guest in here. I can't. You can. You can. I can see it. You can't. That actually does happen frequently for me.
She looks at John and she goes, Dwayne.
Ah, I had a sense about that. Oh well, it's a name. If I really wanted to, I could have figured it out.
I didn't know he was here. If you'd rather I come back another time.
Let's see, Dwayne. Will it bother you if I talk to the air?
I'm just out of curiosity. Communing with ghosts? What?
Not completely. She's not a ghost, no, but she is something. Apparition or something.
Do
If you
you
don't-
trust him?
Hmm?
Do you trust him?
To a point, yes. He's already proven relatively trustworthy.
He's apparently unaffiliated, which is not bad.
She says you're unaffiliated.
Technically, I guess that's correct. Yes.
Okay, cool.
This could be interesting. All right then. So you've been here for a couple of days, and I'm here for your report.
Okay, so the mutated fish, I'm guessing that they was a toxic dump and a low-level federal cover-up on that. The person working at the fishery was very forthcoming and obviously was not part of the cover-up. The landslide was a landslide inside of a cave. Very unfortunate. Very messy. The lights are real. Don't know exactly when they're going to happen again, but not soon. Beyond that.
Oh. So there's really no underlying reason
correlation
behind
No.
any of this. All right. Well, I
You
think
might-
you're
you might
going to
wanna tell her.
find.
You might want to tell her about the missing test pilot. That's about all we've managed to find out. If she's
Yeah.
the one who actually sent us or if she knows who sent us the information about that family.
Yeah, there is a family here in town that has the colonel current who's still also a test pilot has gone missing 2 weeks ago, and all I can determine is that he is way far west of here.
I'm sorry, I don't know
desert.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's all I could find in this area. A test pilot who was living in this area.
Theodore Johnson.
Theodore Johnson, Navy. Air Force, was on some sort of case. Went missing 2 weeks ago, somewhere west of here in the desert.
I'm
Oh.
sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Unrelated subject then.
Okay. Well, disappointing. Because one always hopes when you find an intersection of unusual events that they're connected in some way.
Mhm.
But too often, they're not.
Can you ask the ghost what happened to Mark Savage?
Oh, hey, yeah. You would happen to know who Mark Savage is and where he is at this moment, would you?
Oh, yes. We asked him to come here and investigate, this much as the same way we did you.
Okay. Do you know where he is now?
One
He's-
moment. And she, looks off to the side. Nowhere? Well, he has to be somewhere. Is he alive?
He's alive.
What makes you say so?
I checked. He's alive, but he's not in this space-time continuum. That's
She
as far
says
as I
that
can
he is
get.
alive, but not in the space-time continuum. Well,
Tell the
apparently
ghost
that
we've
may be
got him
correct.
Sorry. Dwayne, what'd you say?
Well, apparently that may be correct.
Yes, I heard you. I'm sorry. Dwayne, what did you say? You both talked at the same
Tell the
time.
ghost we've got a great video of him disappearing.
Oh, yeah, we've got a video of him disappearing.
Oh, may I see it?
Hit play.
Yeah, hit play.
Oh. Did you see that? No? Yeah. Well, can you play it once more, please?
Hit play.
Hit play once more.
Wow. That's remarkable. We don't know anything about that. I'm sorry.
Okay. And as I already told you all I know about that at this moment.
So, to summarize,
Mm-hmm.
none of the issues we asked you to investigate have been meaningful in any. Excuse me. It's not her, it's me. I'm like burping.
Too much root beer.
None of the things we asked you to investigate are meaningful in any way,
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Savage has mysteriously disappeared in a parking lot.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
It is.
All right. Well, if that's all you have to report, then thank you, and I suppose we're done.
All right.
Did you have any questions?
What's next?
Well, nothing at this time. I'm sorry.
Okay, so do I stick around looking for Mark, or am I supposed to go home, or what?
Oh, that's entirely your choice.
Okay.
Thank you for your time and effort in this investigation.
You're welcome.
We might ask you to investigate something else at a later date. Would you be open to that?
Sure. Depends on what it is.
That sounds completely reasonable. All right, have a good night, and please tell your guest good night as well.
She says good night.
She walks toward the door and waits for you to open it. You open the door and she walks out. And you close the door. All right, great, awesome.
So that was what?
That was her maze. I'm guessing she's my contact for whatever underground group is offering protection against. Apparently, there are several of them. Like one of them's like Illuminati or something like that. I remember Mark mentioning that.
What, Illuminati? Like Adam Weishaupt, the venerable illuminated masters of Vienna kind of shit?
Yeah, so from the sounds of it, there's like at least 3 groups because he was complaining about more than one offer. Some of them, but something like that. I don't remember exactly.
And she's with what?
Apparently not the Illuminati, because he was really pissed off at them.
Okay.
Yeah. Beyond that, I'm still working on that. But she's apparently a projection or something. I'm guessing she's communicating with me through some visual, maybe media, a visual way that other people can't see.
So you're the only one who can see her?
Yeah, but I'm kind of used to that part. But she's not the first.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean, you were saying. But she had no idea what happened to Mark Savage.
No, she was surprised that he had disappeared. That footage was completely new to her.
Interesting.
I apparently knew more than they did. I at least knew he was still alive. But apparently they are keeping track of at least the 2 of us.
Why would you be keeping track of the two of you? I thought she was your ghost.
Apparently, he's seen her too. She said she's gone to him as well.
Wait, she sent me here?
Apparently, she sent me here as well. So I'm not surprised. He actually came out here all the way from California.
Did she have any suggestions as to what to do to find Savage?
Nope. She said basically I asked her what to do next. Whether I look for him, or if I'm heading home or what. Nope. But I'm on my own there.
Not a whole lot of member loyalty in this particular group, I take it.
And it doesn't seem that way.
Huh.
But at least they're not trying to kill me.
We operate alone.
Yeah. At least
they aren't trying to kill you, and I think that's worth mentioning.
Yes, at least they're not. As they're saying, at least they're not trying to kill me. Some other group was.
Well, I really can't throw stones, but the company that I work for did try to kill me. So.
Ah, joy. Someone claiming to be part of my company tried to kill me. Not sure if that she actually was. Masks, gas masks on their face, stuff like that.
Actually, that sounds like the jackbooted thugs who were at my place of business a couple of days ago. You didn't by any chance see this really, really, kind of skanky, ugly chick with a gun, did you?
Yeah, I also got to see what happened to her afterwards.
Walking Dead kind of ugly?
Oh, yeah, like actually had been dead a long time.
Oh, here, hold on. Pull up the footage that I took on my phone and show it to her.
She showed up
with the gun.
She showed up with a bunch of dead guys with the masks, and actually those guys right there. Yeah.
Call up that footage. Yeah. So these two incidents are related.
I am. They sent them to my morgue.
There's actually several layers of obfuscation involved here, because the people who showed up where John Morgan looked like, hang on, these are the guys. Once the shit actually legitimately hit the fan and people are actually being cordoned off, this is what those guys look like. Like that.
Right.
Yeah, but the people who showed up with the zombie, or after the zombie, and tried to.
For Charlotte, it was slightly different. The first group that showed up were just basically wearing camouflage and army uniforms, but without any
but those were the ones who showed up at his place first.
They were shooting, and then the People's Front of North America showed up afterward. And they shot each other. And then you got taken off to the florist warehouse. But when you were there and people kicked in the door and started killing people all over the place, these were the guys who did that.
Yeah.
I made a mistake on the whole gas mask thing. Just forget that for now.
All right, fine. Yeah. So the ones who got shot with the zombie, they showed up at the morgue. Then more of them showed up to get rid of them, I'm assuming, and then another group came and attacked them. That was rather an interesting day. And then another group looking like, if you showed me the footage from later, from your people being corralled, those guys there were the ones who showed up and took care of the second group. So yeah, we have 3 different groups going on right there. Unless the first and the third groups are related.
In a weird way, that actually kind of makes me feel better.
Oh, that my day was just as screwed up as yours. Okay, yeah, that does.
No, that there were at least three different groups working on this at CrossFit.
And from the sounds of it, Hermes is from a 4th group, unless she's associated with the 2nd group, which doesn't really make sense considering how ragtag the 2nd group was.
So can you describe her for me?
Yeah, sure. Describe her.
Do some checking around on the darknet and see if anybody who matches this description has been seen or heard from anywhere else.
Who, Hermes?
Yes.
Make a roll. You need to roll really well.
7 on the dice, so either 9, 10, or 12, depending on which aspect I'm using.
If you want to use your Agent of Chaos type powers, you can hack into like backdoors and subverted mainframes and weird shit.
I will do that.
Okay. Well, you're gonna go to sleep soon and get them all back anyway. You may as well.
Yes. Precisely. End of day. Yes, I'll buy a giraffe. Yeah.
Throw it all out there. Why not? So 12, you get a straight answer to a simple question. Who's seen this person? Have you seen this dog? So you do your best to do a clinical, analytical police sketch description of Hermes from Charlotte.
Yep.
And yes, you get completely disconnected, like wanted in connection for that particular thing, wanted for questioning kind of stuff. Nothing too specific, and no actual warrants or anything. No, if you see this person, bring them in kind of stuff. More like, have you seen this dog kind of thing in this database and that database and this database and that database. So, which is weird.
Okay, so she shows up in multiple instances, in multiple unrelated incidents.
Right. But not like she's toting a gun and shooting people.
No,
it's
just
like
as a person
somebody who
potential.
is a witness of a thing reports seeing this person, or somebody who does something and then gets caught reports having a conversation with this person beforehand, So it's more like person of interest, like that kind of deal.
Right. Okay. But
And
no
you don't have a name,
but
nothing you find has a name associated with it. You're simply going on descriptions.
All right.
British accent, long blonde hair, pale features.
Yeah. All right. And at this point, I gotta go to bed, guys.
That's fine.
Yep.
Okay. Well, was that worthwhile? Was that fun at all?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hoping we get somewhere more like combat related next week. Okay. Any questions before we wrap up?
Same time next week.
As far as I know.
Okay.
All right then. Here we go. This has been Conspiracy Theory with Karen Torres, Lloyd Montgomery, and me, the GM, Brandon Blackmore. Sometimes life just doesn't make sense. So.
Say that to myself every morning.